Internet. Hello, welcome to Popcorn Chicken, the weekly show where we talk about things that Elvin hates. And today we're talking about Andor, the season finale, series finale. I don't know. It's the last episode of the season, so we're gonna bring in Elvin and Nathan.
Hey, I don't
Hello
hate
there.
everything.
Only the new Star Wars stuff.
Only things. So today I'm drinking Old Milwaukee.
One man's trash, another man's treasure, right?
And because I know how much of a shit show this is going to be, I brought the whole box.
Yeah, baby. I couldn't even get any Blue Monkey because they never sent us any, so I'm drinking Diet Pepsi. So
Blue Monkey, get on it. Come on.
yeah.
Hey, if you know somebody who works for Blue Monkey, yell at them.
I've got this mug, which I'm going to show off. It's a Jabba the Hutt.
Nice.
Industrial strength caffeine. Official Star Wars mug. But once that's done, of course, I made myself a daiquiri. For after.
Okay, so before we begin our show, I want to talk about last week. I went off on a bit of a I went off on a bit of a tangent. And for that, I'd like to apologize to absolutely nobody because that's the bottom line, because that said so.
I don't have the. Wait,
I will not apologize to nobody for this.
That's fine. You're allowed to not like things. That's fine.
Is there somebody?
Actually, no, it's not fine. It's not fine according to the new execs, and well, not new, but according to basically anyone that worked for Star Wars or Disney, it's not fine if you don't like their stuff. You're racist or you're sexist.
I'm very toxic. What can I say?
Yeah,
it's in my blood.
Yeah. So this is.
So I'm in a great mood. This is the last we're going to see of this show
until the next season.
Did they renew it? I thought they would cancel it. I was hoping they would just change their mind.
This is the first Star Wars that's gone on cable television. And the general consensus is that people like it.
Right, first Star Wars that's been on cable television.
Yeah, they put it on ABC.
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah, they put it on ABC, and
because nobody was watching it on the Disney Plus.
No, because they were like, finally something that like adults will like, and not just this is for kids. And it's like
I'm an adult. Look at all my toys behind me.
Yeah,
I do not like this show.
as we said last week, like this is the first like Star Wars that like just some old dude can watch and not be like, who's this loser with a cloak? Why does he got a laser sword? It's just like, here's some spy shit in space, and it's like
nobody who watches Star Wars asks that question.
No, but this is just like, you don't need to know any Star Wars or any backstory to get into the show and to understand.
I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is, when you make Star Wars, you're making it for the Star Wars fans, right?
Yes.
So should we not try to cater to them first? Then that old geezer you're talking about?
I think
no. That's why
you get too much fan service, though.
Yeah,
you got to have the balance. You have to have the balance of, here's the good story that I'm trying to make with my own idea, and here's also for fans and following Star Wars canon. And we've seen kind of the opposites in Star Wars. We've seen the Kenobi show, which is just pure fan service.
Yeah,
look, they just screwed it up too much.
Hey, this guy's here. Oh, look, it's Leia, and it's like, I
exactly.
hate you.
And you also have the opposite, where it's God, what was the second sequel movie called again?
Force Awakens?
No, it's
Rise
not the
of
Force
Skywalker.
Awakens. Right? No, that's the third one, isn't it?
I don't fucking know.
The Last Jedi.
Sure.
And that one was pure just off the rails. No, they didn't even care about canon. They went completely off script.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
And now they're fired.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Kathleen Kennedy's still there.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, she's still there. She's still surviving and making that paycheck.
Oh.
After all the bumbling ideas that she's come up with. Yeah. And they got even worse, actually. I read it wrong. Bob Iger is back. Which means all the screw-ups and everything that happened to Disney, he's the one responsible for it. He's back now.
Wait.
The guy who was trying to fix it all, Bob Chapek, He got fired because he was trying to fix it all. And this guy came back now. He's the one that started all these problems, Bob Iger.
Yes, but Kathleen Kennedy was the
Yeah, for Star Wars specifically, yes. But
Yeah,
Bob Iger oversaw everything. Marvel, Star Wars, everything. He's the one that started the decline of sales and everything, and then he left.
Yeah.
And then Bob Chapek came in to clean up the mess, but he didn't do it in a way that Disney execs liked it, so they brought back the old. Bob Iger is a very woke type of person. He likes that whole mentality, and so I guess the board is like that as well. So they brought him back, and now we're gonna have more of the same nonsense that we're gonna have. At least Chapek was trying to. I hope I'm saying his last name right. Bob Chapek.
He's a fucking billionaire.
He was trying his best to right the ship, but he wasn't given enough time.
Hold on one moment.
Nathan's gonna go get something.
Is he gonna go get a book?
Yes.
It's story time, kids.
Hey, it's this fucking guy.
Yeah.
He tells stories about it's the return of him to Disney.
You should have told me that before I shit on him.
No.
I didn't
I'm not
realize
like
you're a
huge
fan.
No, I'm not a huge fan. I just let me get my other Disney books.
Oh God.
He's a completionist. He wants to know the good, the bad, and the ugly.
This one's more of like a business book on like how to do good customer service.
How to raise prices in rides.
Speaking of raising prices,
Walt Disney. That's the opposite of Bob Iger.
Okay, complete non sequitur. Speaking of raising prices, I just have to say something on the internet. I went to Boston Pizza.
God, why?
2 days ago.
Talk to me.
Because if we were gonna go to a movie and then we're like, let's go grab something to eat. Boston Pizza's right there. Fuck it. Okay. I got a burger. My girlfriend got like a French onion soup.
I know
we
where
got
this
like
is going.
Panera bread, and then we got a small nachos thing. I had 2 pints. Okay.
Explain to the people who don't know what a pint is.
Everyone knows what a pint is.
Show what a pint is.
20 ounces.
Our pints here.
20 ounces. Not our pints. It's a pint is 20 ounces. Then Boston Pizza goes, oh, do you want to make it Boston size? And I was like, what the fuck is Boston size? And they were like, oh, it's 20 ounces. And I was like, yeah, a pint. That's what I fucking asked for.
That's why I'm saying it to you. They have their own size, apparently.
No, they can't. They don't dictate the metric system. A pint is 20 ounces. That's what it is.
Someone that works in a pub, my guess then is what they do is they will give you a sleeve, which is 16 ounces.
Yeah, sleeve is 16 ounces. Exactly.
So if someone orders a pint, they'll just give you a sleeve instead.
I want a pint as a unit of fucking measurement. Okay,
that's what I was alluding to.
That's not what I'm mad about. That's not
okay.
Every place.
I know what you're mad about. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I've been to a fuckload of pubs, and Boston Pizza is a glorified sports bar. It's not even it's a sports bar. It's a franchise sports bar. That's all.
It's a cleaned up sports bar. Yeah.
Sure. Fucking who cares? Yeah. It's a sports bar that has pretty okay food. Like it's whatever. You get pizza. Fuck whatever.
Yeah.
If I go to a pub and I'm with somebody and each person gets 2 mains and 1 or 2 alcoholic beverages each and some sides, I expect to pay on the high end $70.
Totally.
If it's like
Canadian.
I got $70 Canadian.
Yeah.
My bill for 1 main and 3 sides and 2 beers was $97 fucking dollars.
Yep.
What the actual fuck?
That's why I stopped going to Boston Pizza 10 years ago. This is nothing new.
Drinks were I knew that their drinks were like a little pricey, but a pint was like $10, and it's like, okay, that's a bit up there, but like whatever. But like 95, like that. I could go to you could go to Cactus Club, which is like the McDonald's of fine dining. You can get kind of drunk and have some kind of like presentable,
better ambiance too.
Food. Better ambiance, and they only hire pretty people.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna fucking pay $100 for a meal. So, first off, fuck you, Boston Pizza. You can eat a dick.
So we're not getting that sponsorship, buddy.
Hell no. The only
is
way
not-
I
this-
will eat Boston pizza is if they pay me to fucking do it.
This
That's
is
what the
nothing new to me.
sponsorship is.
I already knew this a long time ago. That's why I stopped going over a decade ago to Boston Pizza, because this is nothing new. I used to go religiously to Boston Pizza when I got out of high school, because me and my buddies would meet up at Metrotown because it was neutral to everybody. We'd go watch a movie and then we'd go eat dinner afterwards because we'd like to stay up a little bit later. So our go-to was Tuesday movie nights was cheap back then. And then so was Boston Pizza. They had that same day combo thing. So I used to love the chicken penne, right? Have a nice garlic toast.
They
on the
have
side.
good food. Like
And it was $12 for a nice portion. $12.
Yeah.
Okay. So we started doing that, and then after a while, the plate got smaller and smaller. The garlic toast was replaced with just a regular toast, right? And the price went up to $19 in a span of a year.
Even before inflation
Yeah.
started like going rampant.
And so I'm like, fuck this. I'm not paying $19 for less food. And it got worse and worse. They shrunk the menu down. They made these stupid appies in there, like potato. Like, I don't care. I have fries. Why do I need to have potatoes?
Okay,
It's
their
the same
cactus shell
shit.
potatoes is fucking fire. But it's like
But it's
$18,000.
Yeah, it's $20 for
So yeah,
potatoes.
Boston Pizza can eat my ass. Like fuck off.
So I just stopped going, and I'll never go back. They're just way too expensive. I'd rather go to a million other places, regular pub. I'd rather support a local pub in my neighborhood
pub, absolutely.
than to go to this junk.
That's the
of
one
an
shit thing
institution.
about Queensboro, like the area that I live. There's no pubs. I have
Yeah,
like, the closest
there is
thing
actually one.
is this
There is one.
Starlight Casino. Like,
Yeah,
that's the closest walking distance, and it's a casino, so it's fucking exorbitantly expensive anyway.
Well, Match is a little bit better. They have good food there. Match.
What's
pub.
that?
It's inside the casino. There's another separate building attached to it.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so
stumbling distance from me.
I've
then.
actually held parties there.
I'll
I
fuck
had
with
my
that.
I had
Okay.
my 40th birthday there, and it was a private bar and everything for me.
Cool.
But
I'll
they
definitely-
have a good sports bar area. They have giant TVs there, and their
I don't
food
give a
is
fuck
actually
about-
good and reasonably priced compared to Boston Pizza.
And
You
I'm
can
sure,
play-
because they're probably like grandfathered in because they're in the casino. So like
Yeah.
they don't need to make money. They don't need to raise their price.
They have waffle and chicken is awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Okay.
you should check
I'm
that
gonna.
out. But
I'm
anyways,
definitely gonna try that out.
speaking of chickens and good food, this is not the show for it.
This is popcorn chicken.
I was gonna say
This
like,
is
how was
popcorn
that
chicken.
segue?
This is
Yeah.
popcorn chicken, baby. Yes. Immediately after this show ends, not immediately, but this is the end of the line for Andor this season. We are jumping into Willow next.
When does Willow start?
It starts, I think, next week. I think I want to say Wednesday. Why do I want to say Wednesday?
November 30th.
So yeah, Wednesday.
Yo, Warwick Davis is okay. I literally know nothing about Willow, like the new series.
I heard of Willow. I know nothing about Willow.
Did you watch the movie?
I watched it like when I was a kid. I don't remember any of it.
Yeah. I had a friend.
I just saw a small guy, and I'm like, cool. And then I was
it's
like,
Warwick Davis.
yeah.
He played
I'm like,
R2D2.
oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah,
but he's played
I didn't
more
know
than
that.
just that. He's a great
yeah,
actor.
he did. He is. But he was R2D2. I'm bringing it back to Andor, bringing it back to Star Wars. He was R2D2 in the original trilogy.
R2D2 could have saved this show, but it didn't. So, anyways, before Justin jumps around the timeline of the show, shall we begin?
Yes, Alvin, you take the lead on this.
All right, I'm going to take the lead on
Dangerous
this
game.
because I'm so excited to take the lead on this.
I wanted to bitch about Boston Pizza because that's the only thing I'm going to bitch about this episode, and I wanted to have some common ground of anger. I wanted to
okay.
match
Okay.
the oncoming storm.
I wasn't angry last week. I just
Bullshit.
letting out, and like I said, I will not apologize to anybody about it.
You don't
if
have
you're-
to. I don't expect you to apologize.
And if you are a listener and you're offended by it,
yeah,
well,
go fuck yourself.
no, let's not do that. You
Yeah.
just have to respect everyone's opinion.
You're
just like
allowed to
I
have
was-
your opinion.
Just
If
like
you're
everybody
offended
that
by-
messages me and says, you don't know about figures, buddy. Oh, that's not right. This is right. I'm like, okay, relax. First of all, it's plastic. Calm down. Okay. Yeah, calm down. Second of all, I'm allowed to make mistakes. I'm human. I'm not a
Totally.
robot from Star Wars. Okay.
Yeah. That's the
Uh,
thing. Elvin, like, just as a disclaimer, Elvin lost his shit last episode, and
I didn't lose my shit.
you absolutely did.
Nathan,
I've never
Nathan,
seen you.
Did I lose my
I've
shit?
never seen you that
Yeah, I am.
passionate about something.
Yeah, that was the sort of
And-
thing that I haven't even seen like some protesters for like random political causes. I haven't seen anyone get that upset about something.
Yo,
And it was funny too. It's
Elvin?
like it didn't start out. Well, it's funny. It didn't start out that way too. Like you just didn't like the show,
No.
and then it just built up over one point.
the Elvin, you lost your shit so hard. If you rewatched last week's episode,
I did rewatch it.
leaned back and I stopped talking. You made me shut up. That's how hard you lost your shit. I was just like, I need to let this fire burn. Like, I just fucking.
There's no dousing the flames there.
There's no douse in the flames. Like, anything I say is just gonna be spitting fucking gasoline on this shit.
All right,
I
so
just kind of wanted to watch it happen. It was beautiful.
okay, let's get into episode 12. I'm
Yep.
gonna get right into this. We start off
Okay.
with we start off with a Taliban freedom fighter building a bomb.
Yep.
They're building a bomb,
Yeah,
and which is so
I'm
like
already on my second beer, so like this.
it's
is
so,
gonna
it's
get-
so weird. Like I'm just like this is so weird.
Oh,
Then
it's
we
awesome.
have that famous
See the guerrilla warfare going on.
what's that famous plane that Vader lands in? I keep forgetting. I'm not
Oh,
the
it's just
greatest.
like an imperial.
The one with
like,
the wings, Imperial plane, right? Imperial
cruiser
transport.
or transport.
Transport,
thing.
is it? Yeah, transport. So Deidre obviously
the
comes into
famous one
that.
that he.
The triangle.
Oh
one
yeah,
that
yeah,
flaps
Imperial
off.
lander
Oh.
or whatever.
She
Yeah,
lands
what's it
in
called? Look that
Andor.
up.
Yeah, she lands in Andor, right?
No, she lands in Ferrix. Andor is the man.
Isn't the place called Andor?
The man is called Andor. You
I
have
thought the
checked
place-
out. You have just deleted
the
all
place is
info.
called-
Okay, wait. Quick thing.
You have
It is-
deleted all
so-
info in your brain. You're just like, I don't fucking care. What's this place? He's on the planet Andor. Who's this guy? Frank? Fuck it. Whatever. Where are they? Boston?
Abo, right?
Where's Bill Burr?
Oh, quick thing. The shuttle. I know it's not a big deal, but
Imperial shuttle.
It is most commonly known as an Imperial shuttle, but
Okay.
it is a Lambda class T4A shuttle.
Lambda.
That's like the
Why
big
does Lambda
Vader-
sound familiar?
Probably named after somebody.
Oh,
Apparently that's-
Lambda is the Google AI that recently hired a lawyer and has become sentient. Have you not heard about this? Okay, so there's a Google AI. We're going on all the tangents today. It's fine. Lambda is a Google AI, and one of the scientists that was curating it publicly went out and was just like, AI is sentient, and it's self-learning now. We are now at this thing, and it's dangerous. Then he got fired. So then his story fucking blew up because they're like,
Oh yeah, I heard
they're
about
trying
that.
to
Yeah.
they're trying to silence the people talk about AI or whatever. And then Google was like, kind of, but also he broke NDA, so we legally we had to fire him. But then the AI hired a lawyer. And it's so anyway, that Lambda is that.
Lambda.
Yeah.
All right, so Nathan, let me ask you something. Did you care for this little terrorist bomb building thing going on? Were you curious? Did you care?
When I first saw it, I was a little confused, but because I'm not the brightest person. But once it clicked, I was thinking, oh, like this is like we all knew that this was going to be like the start of the rebellion.
Mhm.
And I thought it would be a bit bigger. I thought there was going to be like they're going to arm people. I thought they're going to prepare.
Instead
for something.
we get a 12-volt battery.
Yeah, it was just one person making a bomb. Like I think it's good that they did that. I'd rather have them do that than not include something like that because it does show that some people are like.
Well, this is
you
the
know,
guy
for the funeral,
who they
some people
killed,
are premeditated.
who they hung.
Yeah.
The son, right? The son.
the son of
Yep.
the guy that they first took into.
So this kid's hell bent on revenge. You can
Yeah.
tell in his eyes.
And every scene with him, like anytime he pops up and just like so Elvin, I know that you don't like in general don't like the show, and that's fine. But I know that you can appreciate parts of it.
Mhm.
And every time that motherfucker was on screen broke my heart. Every time they had a close-up on him while stuff was happening in the background, and you like that motherfucker, like the guy who played the actor, it's not even like an acting thing. Like it's not like, oh, he said these things really convincingly. He had just like the bloodshot eyes. This motherfucker had been crying for weeks.
Mhm.
And just like every time he showed up, you were just like, oh shit, he's seen some shit. And every like close up and like, oh, okay. So Elvin, when the first time that I watched this episode, I was kind of disappointed at the very end. I was, but that's mostly just because I expected tons and tons of other things. But the sum of its parts, every scene and every shot, as far as like, and this isn't me like defending or just like trying to like excuse things or whatever, but just as like a show or a movie or whatever, any piece of film, whatever, every single shot was like just beautifully done. And every actor is just fucking phenomenal. Like absolutely blew my mind. But
I think that's something we can all agree on. The actors in this show were all very good. Regardless of what we think of the writing, the actors, the acting was good.
Some of them were.
Who do you
I
not like?
had issues with Deidre. I didn't like her acting.
Really?
Her acting.
I think it was a little bit over the top.
How so?
Because she tried too hard. She tried every time she was angry. It looked like every time she was angry, it's like she was holding back a fart. You know, she was just like so angry. It was just like you don't need to do that. You don't need to show your wrinkles of your face. Just act. I don't need to see you try to overdo it.
But I think that's almost part of the character because she has so much to prove and there's so many people who are fighting against her constantly.
Because there are moments where she does talk in a supervisorial manager type of tone, and it's fine, right? It's just when she tries to interrogate people and get that, like
that's what I was going to bring up. When she was interrogating Bix, she like there was that moment where at the end of their conversation where she just stares at her, says one line, and then she has like a face twitch. I thought that was phenomenal. Like just subtle. There's a lot of little subtle acting things that are in general unnoticed. Like in this episode, we had a close up on Bix and she's listening to like the shit that's happening outside. And for like maybe 2 seconds, you see like a tear running down her eye and then she moves. And it's just like just little tiny details like that really sell it for me and are just like I notice and go, fuck, that is an amazing, like that's intentional. And it's not so much like oh, this is how the actor's doing. It's just like the amount of work and thought that went into that shot is just beautiful and really shows, in my opinion, like just the amount of expertise and love for this show that everyone involved with had. Like every shot, just like every little detail. It wasn't like any of the other Star Wars stuff where it's just like, fuck it, nobody will notice that we have the wood that is stagecraft accidentally left in this shot in Boba Fett, and nobody will notice that there's planks of wood because we just built this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, when I watched this episode, there was a lot of trying to go back to all the episodes and seeing how this all ended up with, did it make sense? I was trying to see if the pieces were they coming together or not.
Sure.
It's interesting how everyone is congregating in the same place now. All the big shots are showing up there.
Everything converged on this
except for
part,
Mon Mothma. She didn't show up. Obviously, she
Yeah.
was busy selling her daughter.
that was an interesting bit too. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. So Deidre shows up. They ask her if she wants to have dinner, which I thought was really weird. I guess they have to make sure she's fed. Does some of this, like, remember he's like, "Are you hungry?" And she's like, "I will eat later." And I was just like, why do we even have this line in here?
I honestly don't remember that part.
You don't remember that? Nathan, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. The guy, the officer in black.
Yeah, when she's checking in or something, right?
Yeah, she just arrives on the planet.
Yeah.
He offers, like, he offers her food.
Sustenance.
Yeah, and she's like, "No, I'm going to go out and walk amongst. Like, I want to scout out the place to look."
And-
at
Yeah.
Okay.
He offers her like
Can we talk about how
detail to
ridiculous
follow
their outfits are? You're sticking like a sore thumb. Nobody's wearing a red cloak walking around. It's so bad.
No.
Even what's his name? Luthen. His outfit is so bad too. Like, nobody's wearing black cloak and walking around the street. Why are you cloaked? It's a dead giveaway.
For him, I think I could defend it a bit. For him, he does go to a ton of planets. He speaks to a ton of different people, and it does make sense to have something that's kind of universal that you can wear. It's just black. Black.
Come on, Nathan. Think about it, Nathan. You're walking amongst a crowd of people and nobody's wearing black. You are wearing black. You're gonna stick out. You're telling me that he can't get a bunch of clothes that matches the planet he's gonna visit?
Sure.
That's not hard to do. Like, I mean, especially when it's a position of who he is. Like, his job is to make sure he doesn't get caught. The last thing I want to do is stick out like a sore thumb and wear the same thing I'm gonna wear everywhere else and put a hood. Like, hello, the Sith are in this universe. They wear a black hood, right?
True, but no one was looking for him. Like, he wasn't someone that.
No, but you're looking at it from a viewer. The show is gonna make you think that no one's looking for them, but as a viewer now, you're gonna say that he sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, when I watched
I do get your point. I think I need to rewatch it to see if he really sticks out.
Because if you see him standing in the stairway, you see them standing in the stair with everybody else, right? Nobody is wearing black at all. Nobody.
Sure, but so if I was going to go to Chicago with a bunch of workers who are now rioting because their car plant just got shut down, and I show up in a black hoodie with a hood on, that's not going to stand out with a bunch of normal people. So I think, and also, like, what he's wearing, it's still kind of beat up, it's still run down, and he just looks like some old white dude with a bunch of other old white people. So, like, I think us knowing that, the black hood means this or whatever, while yes, I can see what you mean, like, because we know this, but also, like, he's just some dude in a black raincoat. So, like, I think it doesn't really stick out that much.
Do you know what I think I'll do to help settle this kind of dirty this discussion?
Sure.
I will find.
You're gonna change outfits.
You'll have to find me a crowd of people. I will take a clip. Not like a video, just like a still image of him standing in a crowd with a hood on, and I'll ask a couple of people, like, does anyone here look like stand out to you? And I'll see if people.
That's a good idea.
It's the hood. It's the cloaking that makes it even worse. It's the same thing Deidre did. She's wearing a red cloaking outfit.
I don't think she
sticks out like a sore thumb.
But she was walking with an Imperial, like, spy that everyone knows. But also, so, like, it wasn't that she wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go, nobody will notice me. It was just like, I'm gonna go walk the grounds. She had guards with her. She was offered, hey, do you want an entire, like, troop?
Yeah, and she said no. She wanted to blend in with the crowd.
Yeah,
that's what I thought at first.
She didn't want to like, hey, do you want an escort? Which is like, hey, do you want like 10 stormtroopers to follow you? And she's like, no. I've got my two death troopers. And also, like, I'm just gonna go with the guy. So at first glance, nobody's gonna bat an eye because it's just some lady in a hood.
She didn't walk out with the death troopers with
No,
the
no,
red
no,
hood, though.
No, she didn't. She went with the spy.
Yeah, but the
So
spy
it's
was
just like
wearing a normal outfit, though.
Yeah,
They're-
but normal narcs aren't good at blending in either. They're plain clothed officers. They still have the body armor. They still have a gun on them. Like they're just plain clothed officers. They're just riding in a ghost car. Like you can spot a ghost car, but it's just not like, hey, we're the police. We're fucking here. It's just like we're going slightly incognito. They're not like a secret ops thing. It's just plain clothes. I think we're looking too much into it.
A slight digression here, but years ago when I did a ride along with the VPD with one of the local police departments where we live, I saw a couple like plainclothes cops, and they're sitting out at a Starbucks, and we walked up to them. And as in my mind, I was thinking, this is the most obvious thing. You can see the gun belt underneath the hoodie. You can see the body armor. It's very obvious. I think in this case, it was. I actually think that she was thinking perhaps less of I'm trying to be out here incognito, or more of I don't actually think I need a ton of protection. I don't think she fully at the time understood what was going to happen, because if she did, they would have brought a lot more.
Yeah, but then why put a red
troopers.
cloak on? Why not put the hoodie down?
Because that's just her normal ass.
Well, it's sort of like a lone cop walking around the downtown east side wearing their gear, in the middle of the night.
She looks ridiculous, though.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is she's not going in stealthy. It's just plain clothes police. That's what I'm saying.
I thought she is. I was given the impression she is because she put the hoodie on over her head.
Yeah, she put the hoodie on.
Because there are moments where she does walk with the troopers with her uniform on. So what I'm saying, let me finish. Okay. What I'm saying is, why are you doing two different things? If you don't care, sorry, go ahead.
No, you finish.
What I'm saying is, you walk around with your guards with your uniform on, like your shit don't stink, and then the next minute you're walking with the hoodie on, and you're like, I want to visit the town, and I don't want nobody to know who I am, or I want people to know who I am, but I'm going to wear this red cloak. What? I don't understand. Just why did she need to put a hoodie on and a cloak on? She already had her uniform on. Just walk the streets.
Because when the Imperials go through something, they are wanting, and we saw this later in the episode, they're wanting to impose fear. When she's just wanting, like, she shows up and they're doing the funeral. Nobody's expecting anything. They're not going out, oh, okay, bad shit's going to happen. They're just like, there's a funeral, and the one guy that we want is going to probably show up. So we're just going to go there. So when she shows up with the death troopers to impose fear so that everyone's just like, whoa, shit, whatever. So she makes her entrance. And she's like, I'm going to go walk around and just get a feel for the land. And it's not I don't want anyone to know who I am.
Why does she need to get a feel for the land?
Because she needs, I don't know. All cops fucking do this. So then, she's just in plain clothes, and then they're going out. Then later, she's walking with the death troopers because they're like, oh, we're going after the VIP. Okay, now we need nobody to fucking get in our way. But before that, she's just like, we're just going to go do a walk around. We're just going to survey the land. It's not like an official, because also, if she's walking around with a bunch of troops, then nobody's going to act like they normally would. But if she's just in a hoodie, not dressed up in her Imperial uniform, most people won't even see her. Like, it's just plain clothes. I'm in a hoodie.
She's in a red hoodie. Everyone's going to see her.
I think we should continue because we got a lot more to cover.
Nobody gives a shit about a red hoodie. Like, red hoodie is not like, but
no, but if the idea is to walk amongst the people and not alarm them or have them change what they're normally doing, this is not the right approach, though. It's like when I go, people can spot a tourist a mile away in certain countries, right? Sure. There's something about them, and they're like, that's a tourist right there. Whether it be a camera on their neck or the way they wear their clothing, they know it's a tourist. It's the same thing. This town is a rugged town. They know when you're an Imperial, with the nose stuck up, they know who you are. They know you're Imperial. They know you're high, troopers or whatever it is. They know. They just know, right?
But
So
this is also a place that has had Imperial presence forever. So
Yeah.
it's not. So again, it's not something that anyone is like, oh, that's weird. It's just like, oh, that's an Imperial, whatever. But this isn't a garrison of troops walking through. So now I need to be on my best behavior.
Next scene is where Mon Mothma picks up her drunk husband from the old casino in Luxor.
So this I thought was a really good.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's talk about it. You guys, go for it.
So this was Mon Mothma trying to divert attention from her accounts that are definitely going to be looked at. So she knows that her driver is a spy, and so she picks up her husband, unbuckles her.
Wait, how
her
does she know
shirt.
that?
Oh,
She
remember
said
from earlier episodes when she's visiting Luthen?
Luthen. She
Oh,
said
yeah.
like
There's
she
spies
knows
everywhere. Yeah.
that she
There's a
knows that
new
her driver.
Yep.
Yeah, new driver. He's definitely with them. Whatever. So
Yeah.
then she starts a fight with her husband, and her husband is like, he's not gambling. He's not doing anything that she is insinuating or blaming him for. But she's just starting a fight, and she tells the driver immediately, like, "Hey, we need privacy." So that he's obviously like, "Okay, bajing, now go silent mode, and I'm totally gonna listen." And then she starts like laying into her husband, being like, "Yo, you're embarrassing me. This is embarrassing." And he's like, I could fucking prove that I'm not doing." She's like, "I've been embarrassed enough this week." And the driver's just like, "Whoa, shit." Whoa. And then
I was
later
waiting to get a bag of popcorn out.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like, "Fucking spill the tea, queen. Come on." And so then the driver, then we see later, he's talking to the guy who is against Deidre, the guy from Game of Thrones. Was he in? Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. Does anyone now think that the title Andor refers mainly to Cassian's mother, Marva Cassian Andor, or Cassia Andor, rather than Cassian himself, since her posthumous speech was what sparks the rebellion against the Empire? You know what? Manofson? That's a really good point, because also the theme song to the show was her death march. The funeral procession was playing the Andor theme, and every episode has had a different set of music. Manofson.
Man of Sand.
Man of Sand.
Oh, an officer, maybe? I don't know.
But every intro, every like the title screen to Andor has had different instruments brought in to relate to the episode. And now at the very end, the funeral procession is playing the full song, which I thought was a fucking beautiful detail. And normally in most shows, when you hear the theme song to the show that you're watching, it's cringy and it's fucking stupid. But when the marching band started playing the Andor theme, I was just like, holy shit. Everything so far in this episode, it made so many things click that I thought was, all the different intro music pieces was assembled into one musical piece played at Marva's funeral, which connects her to the title. Exactly, yeah. So Cassian this is going to sound super fucking douchey, but Andor is more of a concept as opposed to one person.
Well, yeah, no, that's true, because like, the story isn't so much of the story is not the story of Andor. This is the story of the rebellion, and it does make sense. Like, I don't personally think that Andor, the title, refers to his mom. I do think it refers to him, but I love the idea
I think that
it
is not solely. Yeah, I think that it's not solely based on Cassian Andor. I think Marva Andor also. I didn't like the ending. Underwhelming, low key. You're not wrong. Yeah. No. I don't think anyone disagrees with you.
Let's hit on some of the I don't want to go into every little detail. We'll be here till tomorrow morning. Let's hit on
Yeah.
some of the big things that were important, I guess is a word to say it,
Sure.
for the episode and for the show.
Yeah.
Like we talked about everybody trying to congregate near the end at the one place,
Yep.
which was big because everybody's far away.
Mhm.
I want to talk about some of the people that weren't in the final episode. Sol Guerrera,
Yep.
Mhm.
Andy Serkis's character.
I didn't
That's-
expect
oh,
him
yeah.
to be.
He's dead.
But it would have been nice, right? We were like,
Would've
hey, he survived. He survived.
I feel like that
'Cause they
like,
left-
not fan service,
Well,
but
kind
the
of
way-
I don't know.
cheapen his
Yeah, I
sacrifice.
feel weird.
and
Yeah,
his-
like-
yeah.
The way his departure, because unless they're planning on bringing him next season somehow,
Maybe.
I'm thinking this is the end, and it was a really shitty way to go, right? Such an iconic actor, and
I mean, yeah,
to have
but
him there.
but it has like kind of the Moses story with him. If he showed up at the last episode and he was like, "Hey everyone, I'm here," I'd been like, "Okay." Like his sacrifice then doesn't have as much meaning.
We'll talk about the post
We'll
credits.
talk about the post credits.
We'll get to it. Yeah, we'll get to it for sure.
Yeah.
Nathan, give me some of your highlights from this episode.
Highlights. Okay, don't hate me. I
No,
don't
nobody's
think this
hating.
episode.
Why are we
Yeah,
hating?
that's true. That's true. That's true. This episode did not have as many highlights as the previous one.
I
The
agree.
previous one to me had a couple more highlights. The big like flying ship scene, the escape scene, I'll call
Yep.
it. That was really cool. This
Yeah.
one didn't really have that. It did have, like the first moment when they started to rebel against the Empire with that officer throwing his jacket on top of the.
And then
By the
throwing
way, that was
B2
so-
emo over.
That was just so stupid, though. Why are you throwing
Well,
your jacket? Just turn off the
tried.
machine. Pick
I
the
thought he was
machine.
gonna shoot it, and
Yeah,
then the droid would
do
die,
that.
and people would be like, "No."
What are
No,
you trying to be
didn't happen.
Obi-Wan with your trench coat? Like, come on, man.
No,
No,
he doesn't.
he
He doesn't
throws it
cover
over.
it fully. Yeah, but he
Yeah.
doesn't cover it fully, and then he just
That
leaves
made it even more stupid.
He's like, "Oh, it's okay. It's good as it is. Half of it's showing audio still playing. It's fine."
Yeah.
I admit that was kind of weird. I didn't love that. I did see a non-human in that crowd.
I did. They kept zooming in
you
on
guys
him, and
saw
I
it?
think that was intentional because everyone
yeah.
keeps being like, "Why are there aliens?" Then I kept giving close-up shots of this one non-human just beating the shit out of the shields, and they're like, "You
Yeah.
had aliens." There were two. They both got arrested, so that is
Yeah.
confirming the Empire is racist.
Of course, they're the first to go.
Going back
Yeah.
to Luthen, do you think that fueled the fire for that idea that people had that he's a Sith with a black cloak?
So
I think they
Okay.
killed that.
I would honestly,
Maybe
I
down
was
the road,
surprised-
Nathan. Never know.
so I was surprised at the lack of people dying
Yeah,
in this episode. I was honestly expecting Red Wedding type shit, where just like fucking everyone dies.
A lot of
And
death.
I was expecting, and I think, yeah, like I was expecting a crescendo, and what we got was, in my opinion, a good starting point for season 2. I think, like this, I think the fact that they announced when the first episode came out, they were like, "We're gonna make a season 2." Was good, because had they waited a few months and then been like, "Hey, we're making Cassian season 2," I think this would have been a lot more disappointing.
Mhm.
But the fact that they are pretty much from day one, they're like, "We're making more," kind of tempered the expectations. And again, while I agree with most people that, like, especially with the fact that, like, with all the other episodes, we had premise, build up, payoff, premise, build up, payoff. I love the Death Troopers. I
don't know what you mean by futuristic. By the way,
Oh, I think he means maybe not the appearance, more of just their demeanor. Because this
Ah,
this
okay.
episode,
Yeah,
you
Death
don't get to
Troopers
hear
sounds-
them.
these are like special forces. These guys. I see what he's saying. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and they just
Okay,
kind of
yeah.
like walk in. They don't have that really cool conversation that you hear the Death Troopers have.
Mhm.
There's no, to me, in this episode, the Empire didn't really seem menacing. I saw stormtroopers. You don't see stormtroopers very often in this TV show, and they finally kind of showed up in greater numbers, and it didn't have that scary feeling that seeing
No.
like the TIE fighter in the
Yeah.
build-up. That the build-up episode with the TIE fighter was awesome. This seeing it didn't feel like there's any dread that, oh no, the Empire's here, they're in big numbers. It's just like, oh, you're a bunch of cops with riot shields.
Yeah. I agree.
How do
Also-
you say his name?
Huh? Mano-san.
Manasan says, "I was impressed that stormtroopers had a deadly."
Yeah. Yeah,
they were
fucking-
zeroing in on people.
They
man.
murked some motherfuckers.
Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't lie in A New Hope. They're very accurate.
They're very accurate.
Although, if I had to criticize the stormtroopers, they were not shooting correctly. He was pulling the trigger. You're supposed to squeeze it, but whatever.
Yeah. Whatever, they're conscripts. At least they,
Yeah, that's true.
they could shoot.
Um,
Also,
it was-
Elvin, we got to see a thing that you were screaming for when we heard that Marvo was going to get turned into a brick. You were like, I want to see that fucking used as a weapon. And boy, did we ever.
Smacked him down.
What's his name? What's the character's name?
the brother.
That's not Brick. That wasn't
Yeah.
Brick. Who was that?
It was nice to see the brother embrace Andor.
dude,
it
that
brother?
hug. It's not his brother,
Yeah.
but his friend. That
Friend,
hug.
friend, okay.
That hug, that was good. Like, it wasn't like, that's what, like, so many little details as far as the acting and the direction were so well done. Like, when they hugged, that wasn't oh, it's good to see you, man, all right, we got work to do. That was, I'm sorry your mom's dead, I'm sorry for all of this, you're okay, buddy. That was an embrace, and it was the perfect length. It was the perfect amount of like. It was.
I
the
couldn't
most,
agree. Yeah,
like the most information in a hug that I've seen on screen.
Future Eric says Andor should have been running for his life at the sight of Death Troopers. 100% agree with you. 100% with you. That's the problem with the show that I have.
He slide canceled them. He just jumped shot and yeah, fuck you, girls. 18X.
The Death Troopers are elite troops that the Imperial have, right? And
So,
there's not.
the backstory
Are they not
of the
elite
Death
forces?
Troopers- No, they are. The backstory about them. There is rumors that the like Dark Troopers or the Death Troopers were immortal and were actually troopers that were risen from the dead. So
That's
they were
because of an old canon storyline that was
yes, yeah. So they were undead troopers, and that's why like they were so feared, is because like just rumors about them. But yeah, but also too, they're like 8 feet tall, and we did get to see like they're still a tall, imposing thing, and they usually only follow.
I would have really loved to see them really put the screws to
Mr.
Andor.
Revolution Luthen was sidetracked by. So
100% agree. Like, we have some smart people here today. On
yeah,
the
yeah,
chat.
but also
They're
too,
bringing the heat. Keep bringing the heat.
the
These
thing
two-
with
these
not
two
to
need
say
see
other
the heat.
people that we get are
No,
not smart.
I want you guys to bring the heat because Nathan and Justin think this is the greatest show on earth. I want you to.
no, I don't.
Maybe not Nathan as much, but Justin loves the show, and
I do
he
love
is allowed to love things. We've
Mhm.
made clear he's allowed to love things.
I have a response to this. It's interesting that Mr. Revolution Luthen was sidetracked by his quest to kill Cassian,
Right?
that he was caught off guard by the rebellion unexpectedly igniting around him. Now, he stated multiple times that he's a coward. And we see this. When shit goes down, he's not like, oh, I need to fight. He's just like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And like he's stated with no uncertainty, is like, I'm a coward. I will dictate what happens, but I'm not getting involved because I'm a coward.
He already is involved.
He is.
No,
He's the
he-
most
he never-
involved. He's the most involved out of any one of them. He has
Never.
80
Yeah, but he's
he has
pulling
80
all the
million
strings.
Stuff goes
reasons.
down though.
Is it 80 or 800 million?
He's the spy master though. He's the guy behind the scenes that you never touch. You don't even know he exists unless you're
Mhm.
up there.
But the
Everyone
whole reason
else-
there is because he knows that that's the link, right? Andor is
I-
the link.
I
if
yeah,
love
and
don't
he's
kill
trying to
this
kill
guy-
Andor.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
I
I don't
love the
kill this
scene.
guy, right?
I love the scene on the stairs where Luthen's standing there, and then Cyril passes by him,
Oh,
and then Luthen just looks
how
down,
about the
and he's
switching
like,
of the hat? What was that all about? You
I-
take my dirty
I-
hat, I'll take your dirty hat.
No, I think that was a subtle thing that might have gotten lost in a deleted scene, but I think because they were matching, I think that's his OCD, and he was tailoring the other guy's hat so it fit him better.
Whatever
something
it was,
like that.
Such a weird scene.
It was kind
It was.
of yeah.
I was like, okay, whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. He walked by. I'm like, he didn't even know who
He
this
saw
guy
them.
was.
And then Cassian he's hiding in the little thing, and he sees Luthen, and then the look on his face where he's just like, "Oh, it's Luthen. Why is he here? Oh, okay, he's here to kill me." Like, and he just like puts all that together, and he's like, "Okay, it's a bad thing he's here."
But how can he put that all together? What gives Andor the inclination that this guy's here to kill me?
Why would Luthen
Why would he
go
be
to
there?
his mother's wedding? He didn't know her at all.
Well,
fear.
maybe
Or-
he's
or
here to
is it-
find Andor.
Yeah, but he could have, helped out Andor in the past. He wanted to cut all
he was
ties
just
with
in
Andor
prison.
initially. Yeah.
No, but how
Exactly,
can he?
yeah.
How can he help out Andor when he didn't even know where he was for the longest time?
He was in Cabo. He could have reached out to him then.
He didn't know he was in Cabo though.
He's a smart man. He can find him. He found
No,
him.
he was
through
trying
this.
to find him.
He found
right?
him in Ferrix when nobody knew who he was, and he knew who his father was and knew where he was born.
Yeah, and then he came back to Ferrix because it's the last point he thinks he's going to be at because his mother just died.
exactly. So he was
he's-
like, if
No,
he
no,
hasn't found me before, he knows that he knows I'm going to be here for this. This is not a good thing.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't get that. Like, I don't think the way that they had this, there's no way of me knowing as a viewer that he's here to kill. I know, obviously, because of what's going on,
Yeah.
but if I'm watching this and I don't have any of that given to me, that information given to me, how does Andor, the character within the story, know Luthen is here to kill me? That's what I'm trying to say.
I think
I
Andor
know
is
as a
done-
viewer because the story's been told to me, right?
I think he's a very strategic guy. At the very first couple episodes, you see he's kind of like early in the season. You see he's kind of panicky a bit, not like scared, just
He doesn't trust him.
someone. I just shot someone. What do I do? I'm
Yeah.
gonna kill the other one. Get rid of the witness. It's not the dumbest idea, not in real life, obviously, but in Star
I'm
Wars
just
universe.
thinking, and sorry to cut you off. I'm just thinking about that conversation they first had when they first met and landed on that planet.
Mhm.
What did he say? Did he say something like, "Hey, if you guys get caught, I have nothing to do with this. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna say that you guys are dead to me." I don't know. If he had that conversation with them. I can't remember.
He had that with Andor, where he was just like, when you go to work for what's her name, you don't know me.
Mhm.
You are here because she hired you. I don't exist. So the fact that he sees him in public at an event that is based around him, he's just like, the only reason he's here, he's not here to say hi, or else he would have contacted me before. He knows where I was born, he knows my family, and he came here specifically for me originally because he wanted to hire me. He would have had the means, but also too, he doesn't know that specifically. That's why he went to it. He sees him and he goes, "Oh shit, he's here." Then he shows up on his ship and he doesn't go like, "Oh, hey, buddy, I'm here now."
Yeah.
He leaves the gun there. Also, at this point, he has nothing to lose. He has nothing to live for. So he shows up.
I thought that was pretty cheesy.
I
Come on.
I thought
who
that was
wants to go and get killed? Like, who is clamoring to go get killed?
I
Especially
think
like this
he's
guy.
lost everything.
No,
usually you'd be right with that, Elvin.
He still has a sister out there.
I think. Well, we don't know. They kind of dropped that storyline early on.
Yeah, that's
Um,
that's why
But
I brought it up.
think
Because I
when you
found that
lose,
that was a strong storyline, and then just kind of disappeared.
when
right?
you
Marva
lose
told him not to.
someone, like at that time though, like he just lost his mom. That was his mom's funeral, and she was the closest person to him. his mom, adopted mom. That's not sorry. Remove
His
the
mom.
finger quotes. It's his mom. He would be feeling just super low. And
Really?
it's easy for us to
Why-
I think
why-
it's
okay.
easier for us to point and say
Okay,
like,
that
oh,
doesn't make
he'd
any
be
sense
thinking
to me.
logically.
Sorry,
Why?
that doesn't make any sense to me. Why he would feel super low? Because she just gave a big speech to rile up a whole city.
Yeah,
Why
but
would-
the
why
city
would he
sees
feel
her
super
as this
low?
person, this icon. He sees
Why
her.
can't he?
That's
Why
my
can't
mom.
he see her as?
Because he failed,
Yeah,
and he doesn't
He
get
didn't
to.
fail?
He didn't
He
get to bring
liberated
her
a whole
out.
bunch of people from prison. He didn't fail.
He doesn't
he
care
failed
about
her.
that. He
He
failed
wanted
her.
to be with her.
No, but there's nothing that he did that shows that he failed. He was told by her, "Get out."
He
I don't want
only
to. I
just
don't
said-
want you to be here. Get out. So
He
he
only
did what
just paid off his debts, paid off his people. He's in the clear. He
He's-
doesn't owe anyone. Hold on.
I know.
He doesn't owe anyone. He's paid off his debts, and now he has done a job that is doing right by other people. And he contacted Ferrex to be like, hey, tell her that she'd be proud of me. I did it. And then she dies. So now he's just like, I have nothing to live for.
So
then
that's a
He
nonsense.
goes back. I
not-
disagree. He goes back.
I think it's nonsense.
I think
He
at
gets
the
his
moment,
friend out
yeah.
that has been. I'm not saying he's thinking clearly. He's in a fucking tizzy. He goes to the place. Oh, my friend is now captured because of me. Okay, I got her out. Okay, I did all. I'm at zero. I'm at nil. I've repaid all my debts. Everyone who's been affected. Nobody. Like I've fixed everything. I'm not a problem. And then there's a problem here. Okay, I'm gonna go meet it face on. He goes to Luthen and he goes, okay, you either kill me now because I don't want to fucking do this anymore, or you take me in and you give me a reason to live. That's like we're seeing a person who has gone through Imperial prison, gone through all of this shit, had everyone around him killed or tortured or died. And so now he's just like, either kill me now or give me a reason to live. Because at this point, nothing matters. And I've already fought the fight and I fucking don't want to do this anymore.
I will add something that I think Alvin might like. So I'll add this in. I thought, I didn't think it was going to cut off then. I was not happy that it cut off no answer. I thought what was going to happen was Luthen was going to pull the gun up and try and shoot him, and it was going to be empty or something like that. I thought that was going to happen. He'd do like Luthen was going to get ready, try to kill him, and have a quick fight.
That would have been pretty ballsy.
Like I like Luthen a lot, but
that would
it
have made
been
Lightspeed
interesting to have
very
that.
awkward together in a seat.
Oh no, I thought he was going to try and like I thought if Luthen was going to pull the trigger, it might like backfire, or immediately after, Andor might like pull like a gun from somewhere and try and kill him. I thought there was going to be a fight between the two.
Honestly, a cliffhanger of him just pulling the gun up and then credits, I would have lost my fucking mind.
That would have been pretty cool.
And then,
okay.
season 2 starts with Luthen holding the gun, and then just being like, "We have a job," like, and that's how season 2 starts.
Yeah.
For me, all of the when he put the gun there at the end and told Luthen, "There it is. Go ahead. I have nothing to live." It didn't have any impact on me. Why? Because I've addressed this before. I know he's gonna live through all this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of them doing this, though. Stop trying to make me think that he's gonna die, because I know he's not gonna die. There's no.
I don't think that was the point of that. That was again seeing somebody at.
No, I know that's not the point of that, but I'm saying it relates to that. You know what I mean? Like it's
sure
you're trying to make something that we already know will never happen, or you're trying to use that as a way to prove points, but we know it's not going to happen.
Actually,
like
Futric does bring up a good point. He was listening to a bunch of Nemec's manifesto stuff. So now he is starting to have a reason to live, and he now just needs somebody to point him in the right direction. Or he's just like, I know what, like I have a reason, but I again, his mom just fucking died. So he's in shambles. So now he goes to him and he's just like, either kill me or, help. And that was because, like, I know that there is something needed to be done. I'm now.
He's a lost puppy.
Exactly. And that's what we saw there. And Jesus Christ, does he ever get puppy eyes? at the end there where
I was like, why not just slap him? Get
You know,
it. Get yourself
right
together.
before that scene was the most emotional scene for me is when he saw the trash can, and he had that moment.
Stop calling him a trash can. He has feelings.
That we all know that's what he is.
He's a
That's
red
what they
trash
based the
can.
design off of. He's a red trash can, collapsible trash
slightly.
can.
He's a phonetically impaired gonk droid.
Yeah. But
By the way, you can check that out on our short that we dropped today.
Oh yeah, how'd you like
I
that?
saw that.
That's fantastic.
That's very
Great
good.
work.
Thank
Great
you.
work.
Thank you.
So going a little bit back, he rescues. I know we're all over the place, and that's fine. We can kind of pick and choose where we want to go into. I don't want to do it a linear thing, but for me, Bix, I could have cared less if he saved her or not. She has zero in the last 3-4 episodes or 5 episodes. I lost total interest in her as a character because they didn't give me anything to care about. Yeah, she was tortured and sad, blah blah blah. It's just like she has no importance to the story.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Right?
They expelled that, and there was a couple of points where it was like, oh, maybe she,
because she
gives
didn't
this information or whatever. She had served her purpose, and it was solely she was a guilty conscience, and that was the point of her
I
character.
think
at that
the
point.
mistake they made was they didn't make them a couple.
Well,
They
if they gave us a
did.
couple flash,
They were friends. They weren't lovers.
No,
they used to
banged.
be lovers. They used to
Used
remember
to be,
they said
but
they used to be.
They didn't make them lovers afterward. They hinted that they had a relationship prior.
Yeah,
Then she had a husband or a boyfriend. I can't remember what it was.
it was boyfriend.
I think they should have just not even introduced that boyfriend. They should have just had these two as lovers, because then when he does rescue her, there's an impact to that, right?
Yeah.
Can I say that?
I think that just adds complexity to their relationship, because it's like they used to be lovers and then they didn't work out, but now they're really good friends, and that's more realistic. That's less of a trope of just like, oh, his girlfriend's captured, oh, he needs to save the princess. It's like they used to bang and then they fucking realize that they don't, and now
then why even bother rescuing her? Who
friends.
cares?
You know what? I think it would have been a lot better is if over the last few episodes, or even most of the season, they drop in, I don't know, some flashbacks, maybe when he's resting or sleeping, to like happy times when he's with her or when they're younger.
Sure.
I know that sounds cheesy.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Some moments to make us feel like she is like his connection to a happy time.
Because he's risking his life to go save her. If I'm going to risk my life to go save somebody, it better be of an important person to me. Not an old fling. Like, think about this.
Yeah.
Think about this from our point of view. Like, if we have a girlfriend or an ex-girlfriend, right? We have an ex-girlfriend that we're sort of friends with here and there, whatever we,
they work together and they.
Yeah. What I'm saying, I'm trying to put it in a perspective here where we can kind of all understand. You have an ex-girlfriend, you have a relationship, a friendly relationship, and she, is, doing something and she's off somewhere, and you're like, I'm going to go risk probation and I'm going to go and save her. What is that noise?
There's a car alarm on the street.
That is awesome, Nathan.
I'll mute myself.
Every week, Nathan has something happening in his house.
It's not my family car. I don't know what it is.
Last week, it was your mom getting mad at you because you didn't have enough pillows or blankets in your room. And it's cold.
You didn't have enough blue milk cereal.
Oh, blue milk. Yeah. This week, there's a car in your street. I mean, where do you live?
Welcome to the
South
burbs.
Central LA. Anyways, back to what I was saying was, it just is weird for him to risk his neck to go and save her when she's not someone of importance to him. But maybe
I think
maybe
that just adds dynamics to their relationship and to their friendship. It adds more gravity to the fact that they are still working together and still are friends. That just adds, like, they have a long history, and it's not the normal Disney trope of just being like, oh, it's his girlfriend. I think it's just like a more realistic, like, they have a complicated relationship. Now they're friends. They work together. She has been like, she is the one who introduced him to all of this technically. And he's helping every other friend that he had close with him who has his fucking back. And all that is just, if if he was
sort of an
gay, he
extended
would have
family.
banged his other friend, and he would have had the same relationship with that dude because he's a fucking smokehouse, and they would have used to bang, and now that they're friends, so it's. I think it just adds more realistic dynamics to it, instead of just like he's got two friends. It just adds a little more complexity to it. I didn't really think that much of
I
it.
just wish that they gave us a bit more reason to care. That's all.
Yeah,
Can we play this? Can we play this on our stream? Or
No.
we cannot.
absolutely
can't?
not. Has anyone
No?
seen the YouTube video Andor 1975? It would be great if you could give a quick reaction. That's a retro style intro. Hold on.
But we
Why
can't
we
play this
think
on
of
our
it?
stream,
We
though,
can't.
right? Okay. That to me, that's really weird. We're promoting somebody else's channel.
Who gives a shit?
Oh, reaction video. PewDiePie does them. I watched PewDiePie.
Hell
reaction
yeah.
videos. He does some good ones. I think recently he did.
Actually, wait, no,
reaction
we
video
can
to,
totally
the
do
Rick
this.
Hansen. Oh, no, not Rick Hansen.
Hold on. No,
Who's
we
that
totally can do this. We can.
Who's
totally
that
do
guy
this.
that always catches like the perverts that are like try to meet up with like young girls?
Oh,
actually-
Ken?
Ken?
Toasty.
The local guy you're talking about?
No, sorry, I said Rick Hansen, but the Rick Hansen's the local guy with
Chris
the wheelchair.
Hansen.
Chris Hansen, that's it.
I actually bumped
So-
into that guy.
Oh,
This.
he lives in
fucking
my area.
rad. Wait, can you hear sound from this?
No.
No,
That's okay. We don't
Okay.
need to see sound. We don't have to hear
You
sound.
do.
well,
the music.
we're just.
The music is bitching.
Oh, okay.
I will watch it at the same time. Let me pull it up.
All right. Before
there was
Andor.
Andor retro. Alvin,
This
do you have
Andor
it ready?
1975.
I hope Man of Sand, you're a subscriber because we're doing all this for you.
And if you subscribe,
Show us some love. Subscribe.
once a month, we give away prizes. So to subscribers who comment, and you
I
are
think we're
currently
giving a Star
commenting.
Wars. No, we're giving a GI Joe this month.
But
Actually,
will
we
give-
did give it away already.
Okay, well, we'll probably
Maybe we'll give
away Star
Justice
Wars shit.
Obi-Wan away.
Yeah, fuck it. I don't want that piece of shit.
Oh, is that the one with like horrible detail?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Oh, yeah.
even look like fucking Ewan McGregor.
You mean with great detail? We're trying to give it away here, guys.
Oh, yes, of
Right,
course.
it's awesome and it's the best thing.
It's
that's in our studio.
amazing. It's the best
So
Obi-Wan
good.
figure
All
ever
right,
made.
are everyone ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, play.
I didn't play it.
You suck.
It's okay. I don't care. Go if you
Before
play.
there was hope in the galaxy, there was Andor.
See, I didn't need to play.
Imagine
It. Just
80s
Oh, God,
music.
this is like Doctor Who.
what
There's
in
some
the
shit
world is
happening.
this stuff?
Dun, 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 dun. Yo, this is so good. This is amazing.
I want an intro to our
As
podcast.
a ruthless
like this.
empire. This is so good. Okay, did either of you watch what was the thing with
You guys
what-
paused it. I didn't realize it. I'm still
No,
going.
yeah, I paused it.
It's good.
What was
Man of Sand said you should have played it with the audio.
we can't because the StreamYards doesn't allow that. So
Yeah.
I wish I could have, but also that'll help not us get fucking DMCA.
Yeah.
So
It is great music.
it's so good. What was the movie with hold on.
The start is near the end. It's like a Doctor Who intro. The early
Did
Doctor Who.
anyone here watch Kung Fury?
Yes, greatest movie of all time.
Elvin. So
No.
there was this
You didn't?
internet group of people that made like an 80s sci-fi kung fu movie that there was music videos that had David Hasselhoff in it. It's arguably one of the greatest things ever created. Like straight up. David Hasselhoff's in it. He's got a fucking DeLorean.
Oh snap!
Kung fu. There's Nazi. There's robot Hitler that he fights. It's the best thing that's ever been created.
There's
This guy-
dinosaur cops, Triceratops.
And I can watch this
Dinosaur
on
cop.
YouTube for free.
You can watch this on YouTube for free. There's dinosaur cops. There's fucking neon. David Hasselhoff.
I have to watch
bitchin'
this.
cars.
I have
There's
to watch
a
this.
DeLorean that shoots rockets. There's explosions.
You already
there's
had me at David Hasselhoff.
There's leather jackets, headbands, and
There
kung
better
fu.
be leather jackets and headbands.
Holy shit! It's the best thing ever.
Damn.
That reminds me of it a lot.
That's
That's
hilarious.
amazing. I fucking love the internet for that
Yeah.
reason. For shit like that. Thank you, Madison.
That was good. I liked it.
Yep.
What about? Let's get right back into this again, where we can derail once in a while, but let's talk about the whole marching, parading, the funeral procession.
Madison, you haven't seen Kung Fury? You're welcome. Your day is your life is about to get better. It's so fucking good. There's a music video for a song, and David Hasselhoff sings it. He's not in it. Sorry, let me rephrase. David Hasselhoff made a song for this fucking movie.
He is in the movie.
He is in the movie too.
Yeah, he's the Hoff. What is it, 9000 or something? He's like the car. It's like Knight Rider.
Yeah. It's just like Knight Rider on fucking steroids. It's so good, and it does not take itself seriously at all.
And the grain, the lens, or not the lens, but the grain of the film is like kind of very retro. Looks kind of like
It's
you're
so
using one of those old tapes.
Yeah.
Recorders. Do you guys remember having video recorded? I still had video recorders when I was young, so I'm not
One of these.
Well, I didn't have one like that. I had the one that like flips out.
Oh
Like, the
yeah.
little side that flips out, and then you can watch it through there. Well, I didn't
One
have
of
it.
these.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh my gosh.
What do you have, a collection there
Yeah, motherfucker, that's my job, bitch.
to collect old recordings?
No, I've been making fucking videos for the internet since the internet existed.
So why don't you get rid of the old stuff?
He filmed
Because-
Charlie Bit My Finger.
I did. I was the
He was there.
cinematographer for Charlie Bit My Finger.
Oh man.
Anyway,
Yeah, let's
Back
get
to
back
Andor.
back to Andor here. Reality check for all of us. What do you guys think of the funeral procession?
okay.
Nathan, what do you think?
I thought, okay, this is the kind of thing I expect for this budget, and I'm assuming the budget wasn't very big. The instruments look like they just slapped on a couple, like they spray painted it, maybe slapped on a couple odds and ends, and it's like, there we go.
It was
Space
so
instruments.
ghetto. It was so ghetto.
And
In their defense, and I'm gonna be the
Oh,
devil's advocate,
God.
the angel's advocate, I guess. The original Star Wars cantina was also just like, here's a flute. We welded some pipes and shit onto it that we got from Home Hardware.
they had aliens playing them, so it did
Yeah.
seem a bit more spacey. This time is just humans wearing red robes that you could probably get away with if you're walking around LA.
Yeah.
No, it's nothing too crazy.
Yeah, it was very much like, here's a French horn, but we made it square. This one's a octagon.
I tried to find a bigger picture, but I couldn't find anything
Yeah.
bigger.
So that's my opinion. I found the procession a little underwhelming. It wasn't bad. It just, I kind of expected a little bit more. Especially since we knew that the procession they weren't just, it was kind of like the March to War almost that I was expecting. And this wasn't really that. This was just, it wasn't even like a Mardi Gras band. It was just,
This felt, you know what I was watching this? It felt like a studio. It didn't feel like an actual town coming together. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'm explaining this. It really didn't give me that vibe that this is an actual town. It's coming together as a group and they're mourning. It just didn't give me that feel.
Yeah, I get that actually. I do get that. One thing I did like though,
I'm
the whole
trying to look
procession-
for an example that could give, sort of give it that explanation, but I can't really think of anything that comes to mind right now.
Yeah, I didn't get. I get they had a brick, and they're going to put it somewhere in the town. I didn't get where they're going with it though. Were they going to put the brick in a building, in a floor? We didn't see the location at the end, which I understand because they're trying to show that the Empire's blocking it off. They're not going to let them do it. However, it just felt a little weird. Whatever.
I
did
just
like.
To me, like, I don't know, everything felt off on it, and then the coloring of the outfits. Well, what are the purposes of that?
I get every planet's got their own, funerary rites that they go through, different practices. And I know, a lot of Western cultures, black is the clothing you'd wear.
No. I don't care about all that. That's fine. Like they could. I understand this is their customary thing, but I'm saying what was the importance between a yellow coat and a red coat? People just dressed in colors, and there was no explanation for it.
Well, the red was the Daughters of Ferrix.
Is it? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
What's the yellow one then for?
I don't know.
The other group. Maybe that one's the
brothers.
Who walked? No, some one of the groups walked by all the gloves that were hanging up. I can't remember which group did walk by, but I think one of the groups is supposed to be all the workers from that area.
Because it reminded me of Star Trek, yellow and red.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, all the red coats.
Just give me that Star Trek
vibe.
Did
see a bunch of them die.
And funny enough, I only saw people wearing red dye.
Oh.
J.J. Abrams confirmed for working on Andor.
Oh God, please don't say that.
Hey, J.J. Abrams does good shit.
Oh, he ruins everything.
We would know because we would see a lot of lens flares, but we didn't.
Yeah, they didn't use anamorphics on this. We could tell by all the fucking.
J.J. Abrams and his disciples have ruined Star Trek, Star Wars, and Lord of the Rings.
Do you know The Force Awakens wasn't horrible?
Force Awakens was shot really well.
Yeah, it was one of those movies where it's okay, do you know what? We know the fans are going to hate nearly anything we do because we're trying to reboot Star Wars. Let's just give them something that we know. It was the safe play. It wasn't anything exciting. It wasn't anything to rave about. It was just the safe play.
And also, what the safe play is? You keep the man that created Star Wars on board as an advisory role, not kick him out to the curb. That's the safe play. What do you mean no?
George
what do you mean
no? He's no.
Okay. Overall, the funeral thing. What do you think of the speech? Some people on the internet saying it's the greatest speech of all time in Star Wars. Do you agree or disagree with that?
No, the Emperor's speech when he first gets elected Emperor in the Senate. That's the greatest
order.
I love democracy.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I love democracy.
So, do you agree or disagree? The greatest speech in Star Wars? Yes or no? Okay,
I disagree. I don't think. Well. I don't think this is the greatest speech in this show. I thought it was don't get me wrong. Her speech, I thought was beautiful. I thought it was well done. I thought I almost
fell asleep.
I thought the Empire let it go on a little too long, but I understood the importance of it, and I understood why it was happening, and it was to ramp everything up, and the build up. It was a build up thing, and I'm like, okay, I know why this is happening. But yeah, I don't think it was the greatest speech ever. I thought it was beautiful and it was moving and it was amazing. But I didn't even think it was the greatest speech in this show. Like Luthen's fucking speech was fucking hard. His conversations with fucking Saw Gerrera were more impactful, but I thought it was a good send-off to her character. I thought it gave her purpose and it gave closure to her character and to her last days when everyone was like, oh, she's just fucking, she's crazy. She won't go into the home. And she was just like, no, I've been asleep. I wish I could have woken up early and fought these bastards. And I was like, fuck yeah, Marva. Hell yeah.
You said the red are Daughters of Ferrix. Why are the guys wearing the outfits?
Because they're in the funeral procession. Yeah.
But isn't it reserved for the Daughters of Ferrix?
Yeah, but I'm sure some Girl Guides fucking dads come in when one of them dies. I don't know.
It's Disney. Don't go assuming people's genders.
Okay, yeah.
No, I just thought it was a certain group of women, daughters of Ferrex, right? I just thought
Yeah.
it was a group of women of maybe some sort of skill set or
I thought it was
uh,
just an old folks
Well,
home.
political
maybe you
group,
could belong to
political
the.
group.
Yeah, I think it is, and you can still belong to it even if you're not like someone's daughter. I like thinking about it in like real life. There are like women's groups specifically for women, and there are guys
Mhm.
that belong to it because they support it. So maybe it's something like that here,
Fair enough.
founded by people that were like all women, and they called it the
They're
Daughters of Ferrex.
allies.
Yeah,
Ally. There you go. Yeah, that's a good
something
word.
like that.
Alliances or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we do know that that's who they were because they mentioned them by name.
Yeah.
Those were the Daughters of Ferrex during the procession.
For me, the speech was all right. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was all right. Like there are some points that I did like about it, and it's an all right speech. I don't know what else I could say to it. It's a speech, right?
Yeah. Well,
Its
like, we've
purpose
already
its
had-
purpose is to galvanate or jumpstart this whole rebellion thing. That's what I think
Yeah.
that they were trying to do with it, and I don't know if that worked.
Well, so I think it was overshadowed by Andy Serkis. Like we already had this call to action speech. We already had the locker room
Mhm.
speech 3 episodes or
Yeah,
2 episodes prior.
and that was
Like, we
more
already-
intense.
Absolutely. And like they were both as meaningful and as passionate by the actor and by the character because they like we already know their reasoning behind it and all of their inspiration and all that. We would like this show has done a great job of showing why they are passionate about this. So like we know why Marva is saying all these things. But 2 episodes prior, we had Andy Serkis losing his shit and doing a locker room speech. And then 2 episodes later, we have another locker room speech. And it's just like, okay, it's another locker room speech. Had the Andy Serkis thing, I think people would have lost their shit about Marva's speech. But like, we've gotten a bunch of speeches. So this one was at worst on par with all the other speeches, but is overshadowed by the fact that we've already had a bunch of locker room speeches.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. What do you guys think of the fact that it was that speech that I don't want to say started the rebellion because we know in Rebels that it was actually like a ton of different rebellions starting at the same time. What do you guys think of this speech starting this rebellion?
Before we answer that, I thought it would have been cool had they fixed the radio signal and had her voice echo into other planets. Like the place Cabo.
No, because this isn't the start of the rebellion. As Nathan was just saying, like this is the start of. So in as a larger picture, I really liked this scene because it was showing. We've seen a lot of we've seen the galactic version of the rebellion starting, and we've seen exactly that. We've seen a broadcast from some important person talking to a bunch of little systems. This is the first time that we've seen a small community and their uprising. So it was cool to see how and they've been hammering this the entire season. Is just like when the Empire clamps down, it breeds rebellion, and we've seen when larger things happen and planets get together. But this, we're just seeing a city and one person dying and then the Empire clamping down and throwing a droid over who belonged to a woman that everyone loved and just like a grandma or an auntie to everyone. And then that happens. And it wasn't he throws it over and then they all go, oh no. He throws it over and gets fucking kicked in the solar plex like immediately, and then gets a stormtrooper gets his head bashed in. Like it was like it's at a boiling point, and it's cool to see it at a city like small community. Like they're disrespecting this grandma and this auntie to everyone, and they throw it over, and that's tipping point, and then he just like kicks a guy in the chest, bashes a dude's head in, and it wasn't. And then he turns around and it's just like. And then just fucking and also too there was a moment. There was a lot of really good moments of silence too. They played with that very well, where there was I mean, it's kind of cliche, but like the calm before the storm, and they've done that a bunch of times through the show, which is it adds more to it. So like right before that was happening, there was a bunch of times where like there was a little bit of like people walking around or whatever, but there was no music, there was no dialogue, there was no like whatever. It was just silent for like 10 seconds, and it was very, very well done sound design as well.
What about our boy Serial? Did he get his? Because I wanted him to blow up and do a suicide bomb thing. Obviously, that didn't happen.
We had a lot of
We got-
expectations.
We
for lot
got
of
a
things.
bomb.
Yeah,
We did.
well, yeah. So
But not his.
bomb goes off. Our the guy at the beginning of the show, who's the kid that's fixing the bomb, he sets it off, and then it sets off other bombs and other things, which was kind of ridiculous in a way too, where everything's just popping off everywhere. I'm like, how many of these places are unsecured explosive devices?
There was just a
everywhere?
box of grenades that because they were just like all hands on deck, like we're waiting for an insurrection, so like get all our gear out. So they had behind enemy lines, behind all the dudes with shields, they had a box of supplies, and he just threw a grenade, and then it set off a bunch of other grenades. Those are just regular, like they're not thermal detonators. Those are just regular grenades. But that explodes and then sets off. I love the practical explosions and the fact that so one thing that we haven't touched on, the the one guy in episode 3 or something who runs into Andor, who's like, yo motherfucker, you owe me money. That was a nice subtle hints of just like, this guy just cares about money. And then later in this episode we see the Empire paid him off to be like, hey, if you see anything or if you can find him, we'll pay you. And it was just a really cool follow through with just like, here's this character, he cares about money. And then in this one, he's like, see, still cares about money. He'll sell out his friends. He doesn't give a fuck. There's gonna be a price tag behind it. But then all the explosions in the glass, the windows getting blown out, and then how in the hotel after that guy talks to the spy, and it's just like, I know where Andor is. Pretend you're arresting me. Then he brings him in there, and he's just waiting around or whatever. After he's like, he's in that fucking hole up there. And then the windows explode in, and normally in a lot of TV shows and movies, there's an explosion and windows blow up, and then the people get up. They're like, oh, that was crazy. But it's like, no, bitch, you're in front of a glass window. All that glass is going in your eyeballs. And so he's fucking dead. We see a stormtrooper get fucking blasted across the room. That was awesome. Yeah, the stunt work was really good.
Mm-hmm.
What about not the stunt work, but what about? I'm just gonna put this up here on the screen here to share.
Oh, when Serial meets Daedra.
What about their
Daedra,
relationship?
her name?
Let's talk about that. It got a little
So,
heaty
yeah.
at the end.
It
there.
did.
Yeah,
A little
thought
spicy.
they were gonna
Got a
kill
little
her.
spicy.
And I'm happy they didn't. I'm so happy they didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
because
goes,
that's
I
trope.
haven't. I was like, "Whoa, are we gonna have the chicka bow bow music?" Because she goes, "I haven't thanked you yet."
No. She goes, I should thank you, because she's like borderline autistic and is just like, I don't know how to deal with people. I just know how to squash rebellions. Like, I know how to do my job. I don't know how to interact with people. So and also too, she just got fucking tackled by like 10 people.
Oh, she wants to get tackled, all right.
Well, I liked how we see her the whole series as like the super strong person, and then all of a sudden she just shaken. She's like, I've never been in this situation before.
Well, exactly, because she's a pencil pusher.
Yeah,
Like, and
I love that.
I thought that was wonderfully done. So like she goes out and that's a whole thing with the Empire is just like they're so cocky and they're so confident, but like when shit hits the fan, they don't know what to do. And when things actually happen, and that's why they rely on fear and money to fucking squash everything else. So like the second that she drops her gun and then people go, her, get her, and then fucking 8 people grab her, she starts losing her fucking mind. And then Cyril grabs her gun, and in the chaos is just like, don't worry, boys, I got her. And they're like, okay, Jim, whatever. And then he's just like, follow me, do what I say, go, 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 go. Gets her in the room, and she immediately grabs something, and then it's like, it's you. And then he's like, it's Cyril. She's like, I knew that. But
I need a sitcom with the two of them in it and Cyril's mom.
Oh,
I need one of those.
So
Star Wars sitcom.
Yeah,
I need one with the live audience as well.
Yeah,
and I need these to have little imperial babies.
Yeah, I just want a show about nothing in a space opera.
I mean, you got that right now, but still,
fucking boom.
Yeah, no, this is a cool dynamic, and I'm interested in seeing how this plays out. Sorry.
Well, her right hand person in the area just got fucking stabbed by Cinta twice.
Some boy,
wait,
our boy Cyril is getting a promotion finally.
Yeah, the spy. Cinta stabs the local spy that they had, the informant.
Oh yeah.
By the way, what's up with those two? Are they packing and moving somewhere? Cinta and
they're getting the fuck out.
Cinta and Minta, whatever the other person's name is.
Cinta and
they didn't come in along with that ride there. Are they going to join forces again with our boy?
Oh yeah, they still work for him with Luthen. They were there to oversee and to watch.
Are you guys okay with this mess at the end? It's a mess at the end.
What do you mean? Okay, like
we don't know what's going on. Everybody's all separated. Are we okay with this mess at the end? There's nothing like the ending didn't really put everything together in a nice ball. It sort of exploded.
No, it didn't.
It exploded and it went in different fragments of everywhere. Are you guys okay with that?
Nathan.
Okay. I'm okay with having not knowing quite what's going on, but I felt like too many characters were brought to the same place and not enough happened with them. So
we didn't need Cinta and Minta at all there.
Luthen technically didn't even need to be there. He could have just parked the ship and sat there the whole time and nothing would have changed.
Yeah.
So I felt like we had too many characters not really interacting with the story very much during this episode. And so at the end, not really knowing what happened to a lot of them, I felt like you don't have me caring as deeply as I want to care. The scene with Luthen at the end and Andor, like that was cool. I think it could have gone other ways. Well, not quite. I take that back. It could have gone. It could have gone in a different direction that would have made me think, oh my god, I'm so excited for the next season. Instead, it's like, okay, now we know already next season. Spoiler alert! It's going to be a year later. They've already told us that. So we're not actually going to see immediately like what happens after the whole gun, not even standoff, just him giving him the gun. So leaving it like I'll summarize, leaving the episode 12 at the end like it did. It's a bit of a mess. Usually I'd be fine with that, but because they didn't get me to care enough about what the characters were doing at the end, it left me feeling a little bit unsatisfied.
So this was an interesting, like as far as a season finale. So I watched it last night, and when it ended, I was kind of left. I was wanting more, and I was pleasantly surprised. No, I was surprised that none of the things that we had talked about that we expected to happen nothing that I expected to
You
happen.
wanted Admiral Thrawn.
I wanted. Well, no, I expected. I thought I shot for the stars in so many directions, and then
I see what
also
you
had
did
it.
there.
And I had so many predictions, and none of them came through. And I was like, "Wow, that's a fucking ballsy move." I think it plays to their confidence in their storytelling and in their story that they are like, we don't need to fucking have Luthen whip out his lightsaber. We don't need Admiral Thrawn. We don't need a big whatever thing. Like, we already have a good story and a good thing going. We're just going to set up the second season, and it's going to play out.
But
right,
did they
right
set
from
up a
here?
second season?
Absolutely, I think they did. I think
How so?
this entire show was built on 2 seasons. While I still do not like the week to week 25 minutes plus 20 minutes of fucking credits.
This episode was about 40 minutes, 45
This
minutes.
episode was like when it showed up and it was like, oh, it's 52 minutes. I was like, holy shit, I'm going to get an actual half hour.
Well, they say 52, but it's actually like 45.
Well, yeah.
Because of
No,
because of the
52
credits,
minutes was the entire thing, but it's like a half hour plus
Yeah.
credits, whatever. And I was like, well, I'm going to get an actual half hour. But the fact that there was a crescendo. It did. There was a build up and then a payoff. Like, a lot of shit happened, and also too, this absolutely was 100% planned, because the end of the first season is the first time that every single story that they have been telling is now in the same place. So I don't think this was we started writing it and then we started promoting it, and okay, we'll do a second season. Okay, we'll write some stuff. This is 2 seasons that were fucking written together, because the end of this is now like everything is now together, and now shit's gonna happen. So I think the end of this, while I was expecting a huge cameo or a huge payoff or like a massive thing, if that had have happened, then I think the second season would be probably kind of weak, because then it would have been an afterthought. But the fact that it ended with like, here's all the stories that we've been telling and all the backstory that we have been developing, it's now together and it's not resolved yet. Then it's just like, shit, okay, well, I'm here for the ride. Like, I've loved every bit. And while I agree, like, it hasn't gone in the direction a lot of times that I expected it to, I was, again, pleasantly surprised with a lot of things. One thing I did predict is this is the first Star Wars thing without a single lightsaber.
Yeah.
There was hints at it. When Luthen pulls out that thing and when everyone's just like, oh, is that a lightsaber? I think that was 100% just either that's going to pay off in the second season and he actually is like a fallen Jedi. I've seen a lot of theories online that make a lot of sense for a lot of canon things that it's like, okay, that does kind of make sense. And also like a lot of lines where he's like, my story started 15 years ago, and you're like, Order 66 happened 15 years ago. Weird. But there's a lot of things that they have hinted at, and then I think they closed every loophole or story that they started, and everything converged to one point, and then they just went, okay, here's where this entire story, and as Manofison said, is Andor about Cassian Andor, or just Andor as that family? And that makes a lot of sense, where it's just like, here is the payoff of the Andor family. Here's the start, here's the middle, and here's the end of the Andor family. And now season 2 is Cassian Andor being a fucking rebel assassin and fucking shit up with Luthen.
Nathan, how do you want to proceed?
I how should we proceed? Do we want to talk about the post credits
No,
scene
what,
before?
no, I don't. I want to know.
Oh, you mean for season
which,
2?
like, do you think that did they leave enough for you to see season 2 how it's gonna play out? Like, does it give you
Well,
something?
I will no matter what because I'm a Star Wars fan. But I will watch season 2. I think I would even if I wasn't a Star Wars fan. But I do need some improvements.
Sure.
I personally I did not like the score. We got really lucky with The Mandalorian, a good score. Keeping in mind though that this is a different type of show. This is like the spy thriller kind of type of show, and The Mandalorian's more of like an adventure story, where it's got that epic music that makes you like
Hold on.
rise up.
I will argue, or no, I will agree with you. I think the first 3 episodes had a fucking phenomenal score, and then I don't remember anything past that.
Yep. It started off well, and the sound in the whole
sound design
season has been
phenomenal.
Great. Yeah, it's been fantastic. But I felt like this last episode, one part about the Empire, or one thing about the Empire is they're scary. They're really menacing. Seeing stormtroopers, that's not something many people see, and it's not always easy as a filmmaker to get your point across on how scary and menacing something can be just by showing us what they look like and having some people react like, oh, it's scary. Music can really help with that. And I felt like they didn't use it to their advantage to really show us. They've used sound before. They've had moments where I think it was episode 3 or 4. They had the build up episode with the TIE fighter going really close. The sound of that was just terrifying. It was great.
Yeah.
Well,
it was fantastic.
When the soldiers arrived at Ferrex, they didn't even do like a proper marching sound. Nothing. I would have loved to see the stormtroopers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like come march in, with the guns and everything. Like a typical army squadron would do.
You hear the
right?
boots on the ground.
Yeah,
moving.
like you want to see, like you want to impose your army there, and that's the way to do it with the sound of the boots marching and everything. I didn't get any of that. I didn't get any of the score of how the intense. I don't know what kind of instrument they use, piano maybe, or I don't know what it is, but like I didn't feel the force coming here. Like I didn't feel the Empire's army, the stormtroopers and the what's the other ones? Death Troopers, it?
Yep.
The Death Troopers.
I would have the Death Troopers sound like when we saw them first in Rogue One. They're
that was menacing.
Yeah. But we didn't get to hear that.
They were muted here, and I thought that was unfortunate. Like we definitely should have seen more of that. Like especially if they're talking to Dieter, like Commander, like where are we going today? Like, anything to show.
No, they don't talk.
Yeah.
They only talk to each other. They're disconnected and their voices are scrambled so that nobody can intercept them.
The only people that can understand them is each other.
It's other Death Troopers.
Okay.
But their sound, the sound that they make, where it's just like is fucking sweet. And I was very disappointed that we didn't get to hear that. Yeah, especially when they're most of the scenes that we saw them, we still had the background sound of Marva's speech going when they were looking for him. But yeah, and also too in Rebels, a lot of people have said this. Like when we saw them in Rogue One, which was I think the first time that they were introduced, they were like the fucking end of the world. And then in Rebels, they were just like, oh, they're just stormtroopers, but they have black armor and they're a little bit taller. But yeah, I think in this episode, they were a little underplayed for sure.
I do want to touch on 2 things before we give our score for the episode and then the season. One, Mothma's daughter getting married. She's finally conceding to this plan. We'll see what.
Well, no, she's meeting him.
I just think that the husband and the daughter are going to get killed somehow.
Sure,
because they don't exist at all outside of this timeline.
They might, and they just haven't mentioned it. But I think you're right. So I do think they're going to kill him.
They have to. Yeah. They have to die to make sense for the whole timeline to work.
Sure.
Do you know the Empire, now that they have the information about like the gambling, they might try and like put pressure and like they might try and impact her through the husband, and that might end up in his death.
Or-
You never know.
Yeah, because then so what she was trying to do was take them off the scent. So if they see money that looks weird, they'll be like, "Oh, it's just gambling stuff that she's embarrassed about."
My
But
theory is
it might turn like they'd be like, "Oh, she cares about what her husband's doing, so we're gonna use her husband against her," and then she's gonna be like, "I don't give a fuck about this bad guy."
or they could say, we're not biting on what you're trying to bullshit with us. We're just going to kill your family.
Sure.
To
Yeah.
teach you a lesson.
They very well
Either
could,
one of
yeah.
those, will work.
Yeah.
Right? Which will set
What if
up
it
for season
starts like episode 1 of season 2 just starts with a stormtrooper walking in and just shooting her fucking family? It just goes, "You've been doing some shady shit, lady."
2. That would be pretty crazy.
Do you know what?
The
Oh,
last
sorry,
thing.
Alvin.
No, go ahead. You didn't get a chance to talk to me.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I was going to quickly say, I know we talked about this as like a theory before. If Thrawn was there, I wish that at the end, just to further show that they're planning for season 2, they have Thrawn to help build it up. Like him step in, him go, do you know what, this whole thing unacceptable. We need to address this now, and him just immediately take over, and it leaves us like, oh my god, next season, this guy that we've been excited for a while, he's going to finally come in live action, and things are being ramped up immediately for the next season already. We got the expectations for it, and in theory, it should be ramped up if Thrawn gets thrown.
This whole the Thrawn thing that both of you guys have on, I find it absolutely ridiculous because there's no way Dave Filoni is going to give that character to these guys.
But that's the
is
thing.
No, there's no way he's showing up in season 2. There's no way.
Well, I don't think he is anymore.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, obviously you're saying it now because you see season 1 end with no inclination of it. I'm just saying, from my point of view, I see Dave Filoni saying that character is my character with what's her name? Oh my god, I'm terrible with names. Ahsoka. That he wants that character to show up for the first time.
But he didn't
live
create
action.
her.
Yeah.
Thrawn was like written in novels for a while.
No. What I'm saying is, he wants her character to be interacting with this guy for the first time in live action. That's his baby. He wants that. And that's why when you guys are saying that he's going to show up here and there, I'm like, I don't know about that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Do I want to see him? Of course I want to see him. But I just think that he wants the first time to be on his, show, the Ahsoka show next year.
But
that's what he wants.
Well, that's the thing. No,
right.
that's what I'm saying. And that's why I think that season 2 was more planned, because again, this is so far season 1 has been showing how the Empire is naive and is not understanding or even considering the people that it is trying to enslave and trying to control their culture or anything, and they're being blind to that fact. So I think even more so now, the fact that we're getting Ahsoka, which is going to heavily involve Thrawn, having Thrawn just be in season 2 makes complete sense now, because now for the live action people, again, for the people who have only seen live action stuff, they'll see Ahsoka and then they'll be like, oh, Thrawn, that's this blue guy who cares about people's culture. Okay. And then now that Ferrix went to fucking shit in season 2, Deidre's gonna go back and be like, okay, shit, I didn't get access. And they're gonna be like, what the fuck, bitch? You didn't get access? This is the whole point of this. And then when the place that, or the what's the guy, the Saw Gerrera, that Luthen was like, whatever, just let him die.
Kemp, something like that?
Kemper or something, yeah. But he was
Kemp,
just like,
yeah.
yeah, whatever. And we saw the conversation that they were having, and Deidre was like, no, none of them, we don't get any information if they're all dead. And then he was just like, all this is doing is getting the bad taste of Aldhani out of the Emperor's mouth. And then if you want to do anything, you need to find access. So like, she brought all these good things to the table. And this is also cool too, is seeing that she's not immortal, and that she's not like the Empire doesn't think that she can do no wrong. She brought a lot of good points to the table. She brought a lot of good evidence, and she had a bunch of things that that she followed through with. And everyone was like, "Oh, this is a good idea. This is going great." And then they were like, "Okay, we're going to do this. Then Andor's going to show up. This is the guy who did this, and then we can connect him to this." And now that fell through, she got fucking held up by gunpoint and then taken by a bunch of like locals, and it all went to shit, and everyone fucking died, and there was a bombing and everything. Now they're going to be like, all right, well, you can't fucking handle this. And then Thrawn's going to show up and be like, well, actually, what we should do is consider
you guys are reaching for the stars, and good on you guys, but there's no way.
I don't think they're going.
But I think because
I hear you.
That makes more sense because Thrawn will already be introduced.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be tonight, but I'm okay with. Well, hello. Well, we've pretty much talked most of it, so.
There's one point we haven't that we'll briefly go over. I think.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Post-credit scene. What do you guys think?
I didn't even see it. I totally.
Oh, no.
I was like, I couldn't wait to turn it off. I was like, finally, I can turn it off.
Did you know there was a post-credit scene?
Yeah, I found it afterwards.
Oh,
I
do you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. Nathan, talk about it.
Oh, sorry, Justin.
I didn't know there was a post-credit.
It was
scene.
useless anyway. But go ahead, Nathan. Go ahead.
No, it was supplemental.
Nathan, go ahead. Talk about it.
I heard that there was going to be a post-credit scene. I didn't know what it was about. I heard about it. I saw it. And I thought, this is basically just an animated Star Wars fan art. I didn't see how it had any bearing on the story. I thought it was kind of stupid. Like I don't like. It looked cool.
What is it? Describe what it is.
So it was the Death Star being constructed, but it was further in construction than we've ever seen any Death Star. It was the big, like satellite dish part where the laser shoots out of,
and then all the little pieces are coming in.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you have seen it.
I saw the poster of it.
Oh yeah, so it's basically just that. It looks cool, but at the same time, we've seen the Death Star being constructed many times before. We see it in Revenge of the Sith too. This is not new stuff for us. Andor, sure, he's plays a role in finding the plans for the Death Star in Rogue One, but really he has nothing to do with it right now. And I highly doubt in season 2 he's going to do anything to do with the Death Star.
No, I think that this was put in because people were losing their shit about the prison stuff. Because it was all CG. Everyone was like, "What are the parts?" I don't think because there's never been. Wait, no, there has.
Oh, you mean the Tesla factory?
Yeah, the Tesla factory. Everyone was like,
"What were they making?
What are they building?" Blah, blah, blah.
Nobody knows.
No, the parts that they were making, you see that in the end credit scene. The droids pick up one of the pieces that they were building in the prison, and they drop it into the satellite dish that they're building in the Death Star.
Okay.
So if it was planned, I understand the poetic irony where Andor is working at a prison that is a factory, building the thing that in 5 years will then be his demise. So I get the symmetry, and I understand that's good.
Wouldn't it be
poetic
better?
Irony.
Wouldn't
But hold on, wait.
Okay.
And fuck, there was another thing. There was one more other point. You go.
Wouldn't it have been better for him to say, "Hey, this is the problem with prequels. He worked in a factory that made the very thing that he's going to go destroy in spoilers. If anybody hasn't seen Rogue One yet,
you should watch Rogue One. It's one of the best Star Wars things ever created.
So they could have said, it's too late now. Rogue One was done first.
Yeah,
but it would have been nice to have that connection where I worked at the factory, so I know the inner workings of what it takes to bring this thing down.
No,
right?
That's too much.
I think the prison.
The whole point of it
was they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
All they know is they're building parts.
But
because
he will,
if they did figure
later
out
on, he'll be like, "Oh, that's what I was building." Okay, so I know what can weaken it.
No, it was honestly
because...
he was building fucking framing. That could have been used for any. I
know what. No. What I'm saying is, I know what he was building. What I'm saying is, it would have been way more impactful if he he learned some of the secrets and the structure or whatever it took in this show.
Yeah, but
Wait, Elvin, you haven't seen Rogue One, right?
I saw Rogue One a while ago, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking though he doesn't have anything to do actually with the direct destruction of it, so he wouldn't be able to help. All he did was he got the plan. It's the data.
You guys are not understanding. I know. What I'm saying is, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that Rogue One has already been done first, right? Because if it wasn't, it would have been cool to see this guy sort of say, "I know what it takes to bring this thing down because I was part of this crew that built some of the components to it." Do you know what I mean? It would have been nice.
But the components that they're building, they're essentially just building 2x4s for a house that's being built. So,
Yes.
like, hold on, but a person who works at a lumber yard isn't going to be like, "Don't worry, guys. I know that the dimensions of this 2x4."
What I'm saying is, you could have made the story if it was done properly. Like, obviously, this is planned way after Rogue One was done. Yeah. I'm saying it would have been really cool to have this be the beginning, and if Rogue One was never done, it would have been really cool to have him like find the blueprints, find all this stuff, and then it carries on to the point where Rogue One gets built, and you're like, okay, so this guy knows how to blow this shit up because back then he used to work for the factory, he knew the inner workings. It would have been a cool story, but he
wouldn't need to be in A New Hope though for that, because he didn't know anything about the Death Star when he got the plans. All he knew is he was getting plans for something.
But that would have made him even more akin to Kyle Katarn, because Kyle Katarn was a stormtrooper, then stole the Death Star plans, then was and also he's got a Briar pistol, which is the pistol that Andor uses. He flies the Molten Crow, which is the same ship that they had in the last episode and in the first episode. There's so many. Like, Cassian Andor is Kyle Katarn
in a way.
If he fucking becomes a Jedi in season 2, I hate everything about this show. Straight up. If they're just like, he's Kyle Katarn, but he's not actually, it's just like, motherfucker, give me Kyle Katarn. Where's Jan Orris? Actually, shit.
Bix is his master.
Bix is Jan Orris.
Yeah.
Oh God.
If Luke Skywalker shows up in season 2 and they start the Jedi count,
oh God.
No, let's not worry about that yet.
I don't want this show. I don't want this show anywhere near Luke Skywalker.
We do.
Let's not muddle the waters.
He's the only person who has been involved with the new trilogy that hated it.
No, I think most of them hated it too.
Oh no, they all hate it now. But like day one, they were like, "We're making a new Star Wars." Then Mark Hamill got interviewed, and he was just like, "This isn't my Star Wars. This isn't my Luke Skywalker. But they're paying me money, so fuck it."
That's true.
Good on him for taking that money.
He did like what was it? The Force Awakens, because he got paid more than every actor there. And he
should.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that most people fucking watched it. They're like, "Oh, Luke Skywalker's back. Okay."
Yeah. And then they realized it was a fraction of what it was supposed to be.
This is bad.
You have no idea how much my heart hurt watching The Last Jedi and see him just throw that away. I'm like, that's not what.
I thought my heart was hurting, but it was just acid reflex from the nachos when I was watching that. Because I could have sworn I was just like, this is so bad, and I'm burning up from inside. Then I'm like, wait, no, that's the nachos and the chili. What do you give this show? This episode. We'll talk about this episode out of 10.
Who?
I can start. Go. No, you go start. Actually, no, Elvin, you start.
Yeah, let's start at the bottom.
It will remain at the bottom. I'm going to give this episode a 5 out of 10. Again, the show, I'm not going to go off on 10.
You hate it. It's fine.
No, the show is
not for you. It's fine.
Just not good enough.
That's okay.
Just not good enough. All right.
That's okay.
Sorry, I thought you mean this episode.
Sorry, this episode. This episode again fell on its feet again. The ending was just a complete disaster. I don't know what's going on. Why is he risking this person, and where they're going? What is the purpose of that? And then he's telling this guy, "Kill me because I have nothing to live." I was just
kill me or take me in. He's either give
whatever
me a
it is,
or kill
Who
me.
cares?
I'm
not gonna go.
it.
I didn't care for any of this. I like Luthen. None of these guys have no attachment, no emotional, nothing with the show at all. Nathan, go ahead.
I'm gonna give the episode a 7. It wasn't bad. It's just I really had. I think that part of it might be my fault, and I'll just need to rewatch it, and maybe it'll go up the score. But I was
It
really
might go down
expecting
a score. Every time I rewatch it, goes lower and lower. I find more
Better and
mistakes
better.
and more nonsense.
Well, like for me, I was expecting something else, a bit of a bigger payoff.
Star Trek?
Um,
No,
Got the
J.J.
red and
Abrams,
yellow
you're not
outfit.
allowed
What
to
else
be
do you
here.
want,
I'm
Nathan?
so upset that Picard didn't show up.
Yeah, I know, right? They didn't go
Yeah,
like this.
where's fucking what's his name? Who
Number
used
one?
to do all the. Yes, what's his name?
Oh, I can't
Number
remember.
We made it up. That's not
Patrick
true.
something?
Picard? Sorry,
No,
Kirk?
that's not-
No,
No, the guy who's
Number-
number one.
Yeah,
number one. Oh, Rickard.
Yeah,
something like
Rickard.
that?
Yeah. Da-da-da-da.
But yeah, do you know what?
7 out of 10.
Just,
Okay.
7 out of 10 for this episode. It just lacked the send off that I was really hoping for it to have, and I was not happy with the ending. Ending wasn't horrible. It's just it lacked that big punch.
that guy.
Telling you you're wrong for 47 seconds.
All right, Justin, what did you give the show episode?
So this episode, what I've given most things like an 8 or 9. Yeah.
Yeah, occasionally I think it dipped.
Boggles
a
the
little
mind, but
lower.
go ahead.
I'm giving some 10s. Go fuck yourself.
Cannot believe you're giving 10 to this show.
So on my first viewing, I would have given it probably a 7, maybe a 6.5. My second viewing bumped it up, so I'm gonna give it a 7.5, 7.75. Because it was, I'm kind of torn because it tempered my it wasn't what I was expecting. So I was disappointed because I built it up so much. So that's what I'm having to take. into
Really? No
consideration.
way.
Fuck off. So I built it up so many. I just expecting Disney and like Star Wars things where it's just like, here's a fucking crazy thing. Did you expect this? And I'm like, whoa, no, I didn't. Cool. But they didn't, and I respect them for that. The fact that they didn't
I don't.
rely on, I know you don't. The fact that they didn't rely on like a shock factor and they just steadfast to their guns, and they were just like, we have a good story, we're going to tell this, and here's how it ends. And you're like, fuck, okay. And they're like, we're doing more, and you're like, okay, cool. And I thought this was a good setup. And tomorrow I have a bunch of work to do in the morning, and then I'm watching episode 1. I'm watching it all the way through because I really feel that the week by week hurts this show so much, because it is a slower show, absolutely, and like I'm never going to deny that it's a slower show. It's got slow buildups, but I'm excited to watch it front to back. And like I didn't do that with Mandalorian at all. Like once it was done, I was like, cool, that was a fun story. I'm excited for more. And then I went on with my life. This story with Andor, this is the most complex Star Wars story that I've seen, and I really, really appreciate it for that. The fact that there's so much nuance and so many little complex things that are all interworking together, and then at the end all converge on one point, and there has been no point where I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense, why aren't they doing that? Well, who's that person, why did that happen? No, they could just do that. Like everything at this end of this season all tied together. Everything that I was shown, I was like, I understand why I was shown that. This all makes sense. I was shown that because this, and now they did this because of this. So the fact that they have, I think this is just a fact that they got a good director and writer. The fact that, and this shouldn't be a praise, the fact that I'm saying, Oh, the fact that they told a story and they did it concisely, and when they started the episode, they knew what they were doing, and the fact that I'm praising them for that is fucking bullshit. The fact that Star Wars has been so garbage, the fact that I need to be like, the fact that they know how to tell a story, I'm impressed, is not good. But this is the start of good Star Wars storytelling. And the fact that we were talking about Star Trek so much, I made a joke years ago when the new trilogy started coming out, and they were all really bad. I was like, you know what? Star Trek and Star Wars flips constantly, because Star Trek comes out, and their TV shows were fucking awesome, and then the movie comes out and it's ass, and then they have more TV shows, and those ones are shit. Then they come out with movies, and they're good. Star Wars comes out with movies, and it's great. And then the new movies come out, and they're not so good. Then the TV show comes out, and it's great. And then there's more TV shows, and those are shit. And then the movies come out, and those are ass. And then more TV shows, and those are good. So now we're in the flip. So whenever Star Trek is good, Star Wars is going to be ass. So now Star Trek started being ass, so now Star Wars is going to be good. And so far, I'm really impressed with how Star Wars is going.
Without going into an hour-long talk, what do you give the whole show out of 10? Quickly.
9.5.
Okay. Nathan?
I'm being a little generous. 8 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough. 5.5 out of 10 for me.
That's higher than I thought for you.
What did you give Boba Fett?
I will go back into those videos, and I know 100% that you were inaccurate in my scores that you said last week, because I do remember liking a lot of Boba Fett. If I was to quickly give a rank here of the 4 shows that I've watched,
Let's
recently,
do that. That's a good. Yeah.
Mando's number 1.
Okay,
number 1 without even a question.
Sure.
Boba Fett's number 2. Number 3 is Obi-Wan. No. Yeah, number 3 is Obi-Wan, and number 4 is Andor.
You
That's
like
Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
Obi-Wan more than
Andor?
Yeah. It's
Wow.
painful, but not by a lot. I'm talking about like a decimal percentage difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is kind of shocking, actually.
Obi-Wan's legitimately the worst TV show I've ever seen.
I'm not disagreeing with you with that at all. I'm not disagreeing with you. No, I'm saying it's bad. That's why I'm saying that both are bad. Both are not passable scores. Okay,
Obi-Wan wasn't a well-made show, period.
Yeah, I'm
Andor,
100% agreeing with you.
I'm saying, like, from a completely aesthetic and like production, Andor is a beautifully made show. Every shot is wonderfully crafted, and the cinematography is phenomenal. Obi-Wan was made by fucking high school students. I made better shit in high school.
Where one is bad, the other one is good. Where one is good, the other one is bad for me. So they both equal out to terrible shows.
Okay, sure.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Okay.
I'm not saying Obi-Wan is great at all.
I'm saying Obi-Wan has nothing going for it. Andor, I'm taking this from your perspective.
Yeah.
Andor, at least, is a good show production-wise.
Yes.
Obi-Wan was
at
garbage.
some parts. Andor.
What do you mean some parts?
I like I said, I don't want to go into a full-on discussion with this. We'll be here till tomorrow.
I don't.
We nearly are.
Why don't you guys give me?
No, Nathan. Nathan.
I already gave my score.
No,
sorry, the ranking. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Mandalorian 1. Obviously, except for the 2 episodes of the Book of Boba.
No. Don't talk about specific. Just give me a ranking.
Those count. Those are episodes of Mandalorian. The 2 episodes from Mandalorian.
I hated the second one. I did not want to see Grogu come back that easily and that quickly.
Yeah, that broke a lot of shit.
Mando 1, Andor 2nd, Third would be Book of Boba. It wasn't good. It had some really bad stuff, but it did have some really good moments. I had quite a few of them. But it still wasn't great. Great show, great story. They neutered my boy Boba Fett.
They
And then
neutered your
fourth,
boy Obi. Forget Boba.
No, they fucking castrated Obi-Wan.
Yeah. And then the Obi-Wan show was last. It was just bad. They like even when he used the Force. That's not how the Force. It was the moment with Harrison Ford in The Force Awakens. That's not how the Force works.
Yeah.
Suddenly he gets disconnected by the Force, which is real. That happens to Jedi.
Yeah.
That's real. Completely normal. But then he completely loses hope, which is kind of weird. Like it's tough to go through what he did, but he's the character that I thought would never lose hope. So I didn't really like that, but I get it.
The fact that
But there's so many issues throughout the show. But the big kicker is at the end, he's suddenly more powerful than he's ever been.
Yeah, he becomes fucking second Saiyan Goku, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, for me, Obi-Wan was never about raw power, his ability with the Force. I actually could be wrong. I think his ability with the Force, like midichlorian count, he's really weak.
Really low.
Yeah, it's very, very low. He's just very intelligent. He thinks things through.
That's why he was a general.
Yeah. He was the negotiator. He's very smart. And they don't display that at all, especially during the final battle. I thought, okay, he's going to at least try and do something clever. That's how he's going to beat Vader like he did before.
Vader alone is better than anything Andor has shown for me. The Vader scenes, that's why I rank it higher than Andor. Because to me, Vader is held in high regards for me. The fact that I get to see him again, and I'm going to say this as well. The fact that I'm talking about Vader in an Obi-Wan show, to say that made the show better is sad itself.
Yep.
Well, like, there's some similarities.
I shouldn't have to say that.
Well,
Obi alone should have been good enough for me for that show.
The thing is with the Vader scenes, there were some times in the Obi-Wan show where like he just like lifts someone up, snap his neck, just kill them, and just walk away. And I love that. Because at the time, that was Star Wars, or at least the new Disney Star Wars. You don't see just blatant murder like that,
brutality.
But in this show, it's there all the time, and I do like that a lot because I expected it in the book of Boba.
It was just nice to see Vader back in action after so many years of not seeing that character in real life. That's what made the show.
I loved seeing Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, so me,
like, absolutely.
That's why I'm saying that percentage is close, but it's just that little moments of like, oh, I get to see these two guys again. Although the CGI was trash and getting them de-aging, it was horrible. Like, why would you not de-age them? Like, it's so bad.
The only good thing that came from Obi-Wan, the show Obi-Wan, was the interviews.
Yes.
I would rather watch the interviews with Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor than watch the fucking TV show.
They should have done
when they did that. I don't know who was GQ or whatever, where they have like a glass of water and they go strongly agree, strongly disagree, whatever. And it's those two motherfuckers just like hanging out and being homies. I would watch that on a. They did. I would rather watch that on a loop than fucking rewatch Obi-Wan. It is.
What do you mean they did? They did just interviews though, right?
Yeah, those interviews. Yeah,
they should have done one. You know the one I think it's Deadline or Hollywood Reporters. They do it in that room. With all the
where they do. I want to see them with
that
fucking Sam Jack. I want to see all of the Jedi in that circle. I want to see the Jedi Council fucking sit with a Hollywood Reporter and do that. That would be awesome.
Justin, what did you? How do you rank the shows?
Good God!
All right. Is Andor going to be number one for you?
Oh God!
I feel like it could. For you,
how in the world? I don't understand.
Andor's number one.
Jeez.
Now,
how can you say Andor's number one over Mandalorian?
Shut the fuck up! I didn't.
I cannot believe you're doing.
I did not interrupt you when you were talking about your fucking list.
Who's listening to this at him all week long? All right, go ahead.
I would love to talk about this. Now, I'm going to rewatch Andor, and I'm going to rewatch Mandalorian soon too, because I think there's a lot of rose-tinted glasses with Mandalorian because it was the first Star Wars live action thing. And when I was discussing a lot of these shows with a lot of people, I realized that like Mandalorian, the first like 5 or 6 episodes are boring as fuck too. And I talked to a lot of non-Star Wars people.
That's the
And
wrong
they
people
were
to
like-
talk to about.
No. The Everyman is who I
No, but the everyman is not the one you want to talk to about a Star Wars show.
don't want to talk
Fellas-
to people who love Star Wars about a thing that
Why
I love
why
Star
would
Wars
you
about.
not?
Justin
those-
doesn't like this podcast. He doesn't like talking to us.
No, that's why I love this podcast.
If I
is
want to know,
because
if I want to know a
differing
Star Wars show
opinions.
is good, I'm gonna ask Star Wars people.
No, if I want to know what Star Wars show is good, I'm gonna fucking watch it and then tell people that I think this is good, which is the point of this fucking podcast.
No,
I've been talking to people
you're not
who
understand what
don't
I'm saying.
love.
That's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
I've
Go ahead.
talked to a bunch of people who don't give a shit about Star Wars, and I told the story. I was at a party and I talked to a regular person who fucking loved Obi-Wan, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I talked to a bunch of people, and they were like, yeah, I fell asleep. I couldn't get through the first 2 episodes of Mandalorian. And in my head, I'm just like, what the fuck? That was like one of the best Star Wars things that ever happened. And I was like, tell me more. And then they explained it, and I was like, oh, that actually makes sense. Okay. So I think there's a lot of rose-tinted glasses with the Mandalorian. Don't get me wrong. Mandalorian's my second favorite. And it's as you said, it's a very close. Like it's a 0.5 difference. I'm excited tomorrow. I'm going to watch Andor front to back. And then in the next coming weeks, I'm going to watch all of Mandalorian. And then I will in our
I think
Willow
February-
podcast.
February, the new season starts.
Yeah. In our Willow podcast, I will come back and I will
I don't want you to
maybe
talk about any of that
reorganize.
stuff in Willow.
Fuck you.
Don't-
I'm going to do it
No,
anyway.
don't
whether you
ruin
like it or
Willow,
not.
okay? You go make your own episode.
Nobody
on the
can
Friendly
ruin
Chicken.
Willow. It's a fucking
Okay, wait. So you
Mid-
got your first 2 episodes, but what are your last 2? Like, what's the order? What's
Book
the
of
order?
Boba Fett, because there is a good show in there. It just needs re-editing.
Yep.
It needs to be dug up.
It needs
And they need to have him
re-editing,
kill
and
children.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because he does in the comics and books, so I want to see him actually do it.
If Book of Boba Fett was edited correctly, it would be mediocre at worst, pretty good at best. And Obi-Wan, you shouldn't even fucking watch it.
Yep, not worth
It's
it.
No, but there's people that
unwatchable
like
TV.
it though, Justin.
And I hope that they. No, I don't hope anything. I hope
It's a new hope.
you know what.
I lost hope.
I'm happy that they make my burgers that I order.
You know
That's-
how excited I was for that, Alvin. I
that's
was
the
so
difficulty
sad.
of the world we live in. There's somebody out there that's gonna like something that we don't like,
And I'm fine with that. And you know what? If they like it, that means the good shows get funding.
Yeah,
They need to
there's
make
always
shit
gonna be people
for the everyman. Big Bang Theory is one of the biggest shows in the world, and I want to fucking kill myself whenever I hear anything about it.
I love that show.
It's nerd blackface.
I know, but I love it. It's funny. Okay, I want to wrap it up here. Season 1 is a wrap. I will not be doing season 2 with you guys. You guys are welcome to do it.
That's
I
Because
will-
fine.
you hate it that much?
I
That's fine.
recuse
No,
myself.
and I respect your.
I recuse
recusal.
myself from that because I don't. Here's the thing: I don't want to bring a negativity to the show, because I don't like it, and I don't think I will. And I think the show needs more.
If it turns into Rambo in like episode 2, I'll fucking tell you, and then
Okay.
you'll show up.
I,
But I don't think it will, and I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be more House of Cards.
yeah,
Have you?
it's
Okay. Oh wait, have you watched House of Cards?
yeah, I have.
Did you like House of Cards?
Yeah, I did. In some, I did.
Okay.
I did like it. I did
Did
like
you-
it. I did like
Okay,
it.
Well, we got a lot of time between seasons, so
we do.
A lot
Yeah, a
could
couple
change, right?
different-
Like a lot could
a
change,
lot could
right?
change.
Sure.
They could
But-
always go back and change.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll be here
process.
for Ahsoka. Ahsoka come. when
Oh,
does Ahsoka
100%.
come out?
100% for that one. We'll be here for Mando. We'll be here for Ahsoka. We'll be here for Willow. We'll also be here for anything else that is of interest that we all three like to watch. We'll watch Willow because we had one of our subscribers ask us nicely, and that's what we're all about here on our show. The A&R
How do you
team is
spell
here.
Ahsoka? Oh, there's an H.
ASHOKA.
Ashoka. Ashoka.
Ahsoka.
Ashok.
2023.
It's a very Indian type of name.
It is, yeah.
When I mean Indian, I mean South Indian.
South Asia.
Yeah, so going back to what I was saying is, to anybody that's listening to us for the first time or watching us, we welcome all,
Hold on.
all suggestions.
I just Googled Ahsoka season 1 release date. And this is the problem with the world. So we go, will Ahsoka come out in 2022? That's fine. That's a valid question. Does Ahsoka have a girlfriend?
What?
Why are hundreds of thousands of people asking that?
I don't know.
She's a Jedi. No, she doesn't. She recused all love and connection, you idiot.
And she had the chat. There was a guy she was interested in. Don't know if you remember Lux, the separatist, the young separatist. She was interested, but she turned away.
But then when she got out of the Jedi Order, she fucking sat on his face. Okay, there you go.
There's a comic as well.
We're derailing here real fast.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We're talking about Ahsoka.
Anyways,
honestly,
what I was saying,
cannot
going back
find
to what I was
Ahsoka
saying
release
was,
date.
to anybody that's listening to us, we appreciate you guys for listening to us. You can check us out on social media at A&R Universe. Subscribe to our channel. We do this podcast. We do a Monday weekly podcast, which is myself and my friend D, where we talk about movies, TV shows, and collectibles. Just stories on the headlines. We don't go into depth like this show. This show is explicit. It's not for kids. We've said it many times before in the past, but it's and we go deep diving into TV shows and talk about everything. And like I said, one of our followers asked us to do Willow, and we're gonna do Willow whether we like it or not, because that's the whole point. We want to do it.
It might be a good palate cleanser from a lot of like us
Might be,
being
or
mad.
it could just add to my
No,
my
but
headache.
here's the thing: nobody gives a shit about Willow. So like,
Well, no,
we're
don't
not-
say that. Don't say that. Don't say
no,
that.
no, no.
I know
Nobody
nothing
gives a shit
about it, though.
Willow.
I know nothing about it, but
I-
obviously
No
there's
expectation.
people that do care about it, because they wouldn't make a show if
No,
people
no,
didn't
no.
care about
That's why they're making it, because they're like, nobody cares about it. We can do whatever we want.
it. No,
It's
don't
not
say
a
that.
Lord of the Rings thing. That's why I'm saying it's a good palate cleanser, because like nobody cares about it. If they fuck with the lore, like there was one movie, like who gives a shit? That's why they're doing it. 'cause
Well,
they're
this
like,
is a TV show, which
this
is
made
interesting because anytime when you take a movie and you try to make a TV show with it, does it really work out?
no.
Can we name one? Can you even name one? I can name one.
Like that works out.
Like a movie that becomes a TV show, not like a different idea, but the same idea, and they made it into a TV show. I can't think of anything.
I can tell you from a TV show to a movie.
No,
Not the
I'm
other
talking
way.
about
Yeah.
without changing the story, without having like it's associated with it.
Battlestar Galactica.
Did it have the same storyline?
Yeah, and arguably
was
was,
a-
better than the movie.
But it was the movie was the first thing that came out.
Movie was the first, and then it was the TV series. Battlestar
I
Galactica.
never watched
fuck-
a single episode. of
Really?
Battlestar.
It's
Never.
really good.
I
It's
know.
really
Everybody
good.
keeps telling me like, "Oh, you
It's
should have watched
really
it."
good.
I was like,
There's
"God
a-
damn
You know what, Alvin? You would fucking love Battlestar Galactica.
I know
You
I
have
would.
the suspense, and you have the payoff, and you have a lot of action, and you would really like. That's a good example of That's the
I hope
only
they-
thing I can
I
think
hope
of,
they make a remake of
other
that.
than Sailor Moon, maybe.
If they make a remake of that, I'll be all over it. Battlestar Galactica.
No, they'd ruin it. It'd be shit.
You think
They've
so?
already, honestly, they've tried. They've done a bunch of spin-offs, and they were fine, but like the original Battlestar Galactica TV show was just chef's kiss.
I got an idea. I got one that's coming still, and I'm really interested in seeing this. Narnia.
What?
So
TV show?
yeah, they're making a TV show. Netflix Narnia. They got the rights to it.
I
I don't know if this is going to be good or not.
the
I
movies
read
were
the
good, but they
books.
never finished.
I'm a huge Narnia fan. I read the books.
Yeah.
It was my wheelhouse kind of thing, right? I love growing up. That was something that I loved reading. and I watched the movies. The first movie I thought it was pretty good. I love the voice of Liam Neeson as
Yeah.
the lion.
As God.
Yeah, yeah. I really enjoyed the first two
Yeah.
movies, and then the third one kind of derailed for me, and
I
that's
don't
because
remember the third one.
the kids got older, so it just didn't have that
Yeah,
that
that
feel to it.
kind of.
Yeah, innocent. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, innocent. So yeah, Netflix owns the rights to it. They've been trying to get up and running for a while, but COVID really derailed them.
Mm.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, so we will do Willow next, and we'll break it down. We'll be here at 9:45 p.m. on Wednesday nights Pacific time. Come join us. If you have any questions, let us know.
Wait.
all of our social-
When does Willow release?
next week,
No,
Yeah,
but what
next
day?
week, the 30th.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Well, it's Netflix, so we're not.
No,
We
it's
might
Disney
change
Plus. No, it's Disney Plus.
Oh, it's Disney Plus. Okay, so we're doing the same.
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
Okay.
Say bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye,
May the
everybody.
force be with you.
Good night. Take care.
Bye.
Be safe.